Say I feel the demons. Know me, I have to protect my freedom. Give thanks every morning. Know the most I never have my doubts. I start progress, I just gain in the wisdom. I stand tall with the United Kingdom. I've couple of my brothers in the system. From a place called Bad Britain. No say I feel out the demons. Know me, I have to protect my freedom. Give thanks every morning. Know the most I never have my doubts. As time progress, I just gain in the wisdom. I stand tall with the United Kingdom. They have a couple of me brothers in the system. From a place called Bad Britain. From a place called Bad Britain. No say I feel the demons. Know me if you protect my freedom. Give thanks every morning. Know the most I never have my doubts. As time progress, I just gain in the wisdom. I stand tall with the United Kingdom. I stand tall with the United Kingdom. They have a couple of me brothers in the system. From a place called Bad Britain. From a place called Bad Britain. Say
Yo, what's going on? Good evening, all. How is everyone? Hope everyone is well. Reese was first. Probably that was ages ago when the live first got scheduled. Inferno, CP, Angry Man, Susan. What else we got in here? Sean, we gotta listen to him waffle again. Joe Public, what's up, bro? Big G. What else we got? Mr. Chips, can you make sure you're on for an hour or so, as I'm getting in the bath and expect you to be live still when I get out? All right. No problem. No problem. David, what's up, man? Hope you well. Old Nightbot. Bad Sheep. What's going on? What's going on? Outlaw King. Yeah, man. What's going on? I know that was a bit of a weird video at the beginning, but why not, eh? What's up, Joe? You good? Hope you're well. Can we create a fifth medal place for Susan? Can't we just make like a medal for small people and then give it Susan? I don't know. Just asking the question. Cartman, what's up, man? Good to see you, bro. Hang on. What's on the agenda tonight? I don't know. What is on the agenda tonight? What is on the agenda? I don't actually know. I just thought I'd fire up a live, man. It's been a few days and that since I have, so why not? Why not? I can fire out the link and see if people want to join. I'm sure somebody's always got something to talk about. I'm sure there's already been lives covering the stuff Elon's been saying and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm not going to dribble on there unless people want to. Put the link out. You're annoying. You see how my moderators treat me, man. Hey, Joe, everyone gets a medal here, yeah? You're all winners. Yeah? Apparently not. Apparently we shouldn't give medals out to people that are stupid and no good at something. But I say give them all medals, man. We're all winners, right? Winner, chicken dinner. Like how I done that, I brought food into the equation. Yeah. Yeah. I can put the link out, though. Who's coming up there? Minnie, what's going on? What is going on? I reckon Big G should come up and tell us, man, about his new life in Sussex. No, mate, I won't go there. I won't go there. Did Bird just call all this chat stupid? I didn't call anyone stupid. What are you on about? What are you on about? What are you on about? Like I'd call any of you stupid. You're too stupid to call you stupid. Oh, shit, did I just do that? Oh, Bear, sod off with your participation medal. Wow. You know what I mean? Why not? Why can't everyone have a participation medal? What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? Huh? Huh? What's wrong with that? Let's put some banners on this shit. It makes it look a little bit more prettier. Why is it green as well? Oh, yeah, I was live before. That'll do. That'll do. That'll do. You're good at cleaning up the scene of crimes? Cleaning them up or like creating them, then cleaning them up? I don't know. That's weird. Oh, it's mad. It's mad. I told you all, man. What book to read? A book called Survivors. By, is it Maggie Oliver? Is it Oliver? I think it's Maggie Oliver. I should know. I've got the book and read most of it. Ariel, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Hope you're well, mate. What's going on with all these fires in LA, man? Is it a conspiracy? Is it, what is it? What's going on? What are they saying it is over there, Ariel? What are they saying to you? What caused these fires? Yes, Reese, evening. Good to see you, bro. I like that whole concept you had with the quiz, man. I didn't actually take part because I was busy, so it'd been no good me typing. But I watched in it a bit at the beginning and as it was during, and I like the way we're using some kind of bot that registers everyone's answer or something. That was quite cool. That was quite cool. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I see the filming of Backdraft 2 in Hollywood went a bit wrong. The aliens did it. Maybe. They'll be telling you it was the drones next. You know, those things that were in the sky over these air bases. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. They'll be making some absurd shit up. Evening, TF. What's up, man? They were started on purpose. Was listening to the Benny Johnson show exposing it. But were they though? Were they though? This is the question. So who started it, man? Who started the fire? Where did it start? How did it start? Who, what, where, why, when, and all that jazz. Otherwise, it does just at the moment become another conspiracy. The rich and famous burning the evidence before the Epstein lists are released. Oh, Reese. I'm interested in that. What are you saying, bro? What are you saying about that? What are you saying about that? Yeah, they'll not put the link out. I'm sure I'll put the link out. They'll not put the link out. YouTube censor suck out. What's going on, man? Excuse me, I'm having like a Tourette's moment. I blame the prodigy. There we are. There's the link, man. The link. Let's get some people on this panel. Give me a second as well before I bring anyone on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let's get this shared out. But yeah, Nelly, what's going on? Sorry, didn't see you there. Yeah, what's going on? Active shooter, what's going on? What's going on? Sorry. Can we have more quizzes? What kind of quiz do you want? That weren't my channel, bro. I'm going to leave that for Reese. That's Reese's little thing, man. He's got a little niche there. Unless Reese is coming up to do the... if Reese wants to come up and do a quiz on here, he's more than welcome. But I ain't got nothing. Man. I've got nothing to give you, I'm going to be honest. Joe and Bruno sitting in a tree. Beaky Plimper? Beaky Plimper. Oh. Hello. Anyone else feeling something not right with time? What do you mean with time? What do you think's wrong with time? You got me confused now. Like the times of today or what? Because I'll tell you, they're fucking insane. Reese, the quiz master. That's it. Share out his channel, Susan. Share out his channel. Oh, passing faster. I don't know. Does that not just come as you get older? Does that not just come as you get older? 147 snooker or 9 dart and darts, which is harder from Jamie's panel? A 147 in snooker or a 9 darter in darts? What's harder? I would, from playing both sports, I would say probably, 147 in snooker's harder. For sure. I'd definitely say that for sure, yeah. I'd agree with that. No, every age is saying it. I don't know. Sometimes time goes quicker. Sometimes it feels like it's going slower. But in reality, it's always going at the same time. So, I don't know, man. It just depends, doesn't it? That could be different for each and every one of us as well. What we're saying here, the fire was set by a dude who set his arm on fire at a petrol station while smoking. He ran into a close-by forest and went up in flames. He has been arrested for possession of a firearm. Are we being serious? That sounds proper far-fetched. I'm not going to lie. That sounds really far-fetched, man. That does seem far-fetched. Where these jokes get cornier and cornier, man. It's just, I don't know. Where are we going with this? I don't know. Jesus Christ. Anyway, what was I going to show you? In fact, I'm not now because it's gone off my screen. Well, I was going to show you something Nigel Farage said, but kind of he's annoying me lately. Angry man. I take him for his safety as there are men thinking about doing things with dogs. Firearm dude. Yeah, no, I know. I'm on fire. Auditing Island. Yeah, we got it, bro. We got it. 147. 147. Definitely harder. Sure, it's something like 36 balls need potted perfectly. It's a lot of balls, isn't it? Anyone who's played snooker knows it ain't like playing pool. Fucking hell, no, it's not. Dad jokes. Dad jokes. I know, dad jokes. Dad jokes. But then where's CP at, man? She didn't take offense to my video, did she? She didn't take offense. It was funny, man. It was funny. Go have a bit of a laugh, in you. But yeah. Oh. Doing things with dogs. What? Angry man, I take him for. Oh, let's not even go there. Let's not even go there, shall we? Let's not go there. Honestly, let's not. Sean, you asked a good question on your YouTube channel, I think. Was it this morning? Let me look for this. I can't find his channel because he's changed the name of it. Oh no, I've got it. Community post there. Should leaders ordering MPs how to vote in Parliament become illegal? And it was obviously yes, MPs should vote how they like, or no leaders should control the voting. I mean, I think that anyone surely who's voting for the latter one is wants some kind of tyrannical government, or more of a tyrannical government than we already have, I guess. Mad. Why would you want that? I didn't get it. And there's 25%, so someone's definitely voted for that. Surely just should have been. They got to have been taking the piss, right? No one really wants that. No one actually wants that. What else did I see on here? Oh, this is interesting. Piers Morgan has quit Rupert Murdoch's media empire to pursue his own show on YouTube, which we know he's obviously already got. But Piers has quit Rupert Murdoch's media empire to pursue his own. Mr. Morgan has not renewed his contract with news. I wonder if that's so he can speak a bit more freely. I got you, Niggy, mate. I got you, bro. Evening, mate. You all right?
Yes, mate. You?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad.
Oh, you got 2 for 1, bro.
Yo, what's going on? You good?
Yeah, man, you?
Yeah, all good, bro. All good. Yeah.
I'm going to put the kettle on. Well, you've got a story.
Yeah, I got a story for you, Bear.
Oh, go on. We love story.
So I had a thing last night with the police. You should help me audit a petrol station now. I had like a bit of a weird incident last night. So I went to go get fuel for me heater and stuff. You know, that's how I heat the thing up. And it was like -8 degrees, so it was really cold. You know, my thing ran out. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I thought I can't leave it, so I'm gonna have to go up and go get some fuel.
Yeah.
So anyways, I gets there, and then there's other people at the forecourt and that, and then I go to fill up my can, and this woman was like, "No, you need to come in and prepay," and I was like, "Oh, okay, sound I can go do that." So I went in there, and I realized that nobody else had to, and then she was like, "Well, it's kind of like the way you look, sort of thing," and I was like, "Well, that's," I was like, "That's
Easy.
yeah," and I was
It's
like, "Well,
not
that's."
funny. No, it's not. It's not like a laugh. It's not
It is
funny.
funny. I was like, I was well taken back. I was like, well,
It's-
that's a bit mad. And then in the end, I was like, well, I mean, why are you making me do this? And she was like, well, you look a bit dodgy and that, it was dead funny and that. Anyway, so everyone else is paying for their stuff, and I went, look, I just want, I want to be treated like everyone else. And she went, right, okay, I went, right, okay, I'll prepay then. So I told her how much I wanted, and she went, no, now you're gonna have to give me your credit card and leave it here with me. I'm like, what?
no.
She was like, you have to leave your credit card here with me. And I'm like, no, I don't feel comfortable doing it. I think she thought I was like a traveler or something. She just felt like, anyways, it gets way fucking funnier. So there's people in the shop as well at this point. So I've said, look, I'm not going to do that. I'm happy to prepay. And she went, right, leave. And I'm like, you can't, man, this is bullshit. I didn't say anything like that. She goes, you have to leave. And then she went, if you don't leave right now, I'm going to phone the police. So I was like, yeah, all right, and do it. So she pulled the phone out, looked me dead in the eyes, in front of people, in front of cameras and everything. She looked me in the eyes, and she phoned these people, and she went, "Hello, police, please. There's somebody being threatening and abusive. I'm scared. I work at a petrol station," and it was this hot. I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" So then, obviously, I was like, I didn't really know what to do at this point. So I thought the smart thing for me to do would be to also phone the police and say, "Hi, I've just, somebody's just made false allegations about me. I'd like to make a statement." And then, so the police turn up, right? It's fucking -8. I'm outside this shop. I'm not allowed to go in there. I don't want to leave because the police will just come and wake people up near where I'm staying anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it was like I had to deal with them there, and I needed the fuel, otherwise I'd have frozen. So this officer come over and he's like, "Oh, yeah, how's it going?" And I was paranoid, thinking I'm going to be arrested immediately. Like then, some shop workers, the staff member and that, they've said that some lads here. I'm wearing a flat cap. I'm dressed in black and that. It's my warm coat. And anyways, this fucking this officer come over, so I explained to him what happened, and then he was like, and he went, "Well, it sounds like a civil matter." I went, "Yeah, but she made allegations to the, she made allegations to the police that were false. That is a criminal offence, isn't it? Could you talk to him about that?" And then he goes, "Right, leave it with me." And he walked in, and then a minute later, he came back out, and he's like, "Right, go get your fuel, mate. No problems here." So I was like, "Sound." Went over, filled up my thingy. I'm the only person on the forecourt now, so like I filled it up, and he went, "Right, go on and go pay. I'll be right behind you." So I walked in, and I was like, "Pump number 8, please." And then, and then she was like, "No, that's fine." I went, "Look, I'm here most nights. I know that you're new, but I'm in here most nights, and I happen to know everybody that works here, So, like, am I right to come back tomorrow and have the same treatment everyone else gets this time?" And she was like, "Yeah, it's fine. It's okay." And I'm like, "Haha, fuck you, bitch."
That's mad, isn't
Yeah, bro. I was like,
it? Did they do anything about the fact that she made a false report?
No, I made a sort of deal, kind of. I said to the officer, I said, "Look, because she was really irate that they were talking to me first because I was outside the shop," and he was like, "Oh," he went, "Well, they phoned the police. We're going to go speak to them." And I went, I phoned the police as well, so you could speak to me." So that this guy, it was only one dude. He's talking to me, and he was like, "Yeah, do you know what?" He goes, "You seem totally sound. You seem totally reasonable." And I went, "I just want to add as well that I'm willing to just leave this completely if she just gives me my fuel. You know what I mean? Like, I'm happy to. Other than that, it is a criminal offence, and I would be wanting to make a statement if she wants to make a deal out of it." So he goes in there, basically explains to her that you can't treat people differently based on how they look. She has a right to shut the doors or to make me prepay, but she can't just take my card off me. All this other stuff. And then it was just like, right, you're gonna have to serve him. And he made her serve me, and then she's like, "Yeah, no, we're fine now, everything's okay." I'm like, what a silly idiot. Like, why would you phone the police and then like make up allegations in front of witnesses? Because there was people in the shop. They were looking at me, like the one guy mouthed the words as well. He went, "What the fuck?" Like under his breath looking at me, and I'm like, thank God there's people here, and a camera with audio as well. I know the layout of the shop really well because my mum used to work there. And I spent years there. So I'm like, well, I know that camera's got audio. I know that, that I'm covered here. And then, they were just like, "Seems like a pretty clear case. You're just going to have to leave him alone, aren't you?" And she was like, "Yeah, I guess I'll leave him alone."
No way. That's real bad, man.
3 o'clock in the morning as well, bro. I was like, well, ready for bed. And I'm like, right, I'm going to have to stand outside in -8 because she won't let me back in the shop. And there's nowhere else for me to get fuel. I need the fuel. So I'm just going to have to wait here for the police now. And I might get arrested. I might not.
I know you're not, but like some would say, like some people would sue them for that shit, mate. Like to do that and then like discriminate you in front of other people, other members of the public, cause an issue and a scene it's not good, man.
And then false
Not good on that
allegations.
company. False
Like,
allegation. It's not
Ariana's
good.
there, isn't she?
Oh, it's a real bad way to represent that garage or that company, right?
So I did have a word with someone from the company, and they were like,
brand new fucking.
they were like, you can absolutely, do like an independent thing if you want, speak to a solicitor or something like that. But in the meantime, the process, the policy is to speak with the store manager. So I gave the store a phone today. I phoned them about 4 or 5 times. But like I say, I know how the shop operates. They're super busy. They're on a motorway. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just it's difficult for them to answer the phone. So I'm going to keep trying. If not, I'll pop in person and try and get the number for the manager or whatever and try and get in contact with them that way. But I'm definitely going to pursue something. I'm not going to just leave it lie. At the very least, I want some free fuel out of this.
You know what I mean? Yeah, damn right. What's this Outlaw King saying? Lucky the police showed up. I got hit by a motorhome on Boxing Day. Guy never stopped and just drove off. Reported it and told them I thought he was a drunk driver. 4 days later, they showed up.
Wow.
It's nuts, isn't it? Like they really I was lucky they were there in an hour because there was 2 separate calls. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Wait, do you know what it is as well? Yeah. Do you know the other thing I don't like? And I've seen this like with American audits because obviously it's a little bit different out there. Yeah, but it's the same principle, and it could like backfire on that person that makes that false report because there she is saying they've got someone like that's making threats and whatever else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that could be pursued as like you're being aggressive now, man. You could be a threat. So, yeah, I mean, police could have just turned up and gone off of that and like, started manhandling you and shit. I've seen it in America where they'll turn around and say, he was reaching for his pocket or I think he's got a gun when they know damn well they haven't. And they've just said that. And like, I always think it is.
Calling the police on somebody is an act of violence, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it definitely is making a false report. Like, 100%. Like, we could say that like on a whole anyway. But definitely, if I'm calling the police on you, Niggy, and I'm making up some random bullshit that you're being violent, etc., when that it's an act of violence. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And looking me in the eye while you're doing it. So with the intention that I'll just say something, shout back at her something. Do you know what I mean? While she's doing it, that's the idea, isn't it? Of that, she was telling them a lie in front of his face
to provoke me and
to provoke him into doing more. Yeah, into being loud, and they'd have had him. I'd fucking. It's really shit. She deserves a fucking thrashing with a big stick.
Well, you know what that place wants? That place wants like one of those audit, like you've seen these people go with like £20 coins. I think News Now has done a couple. Yeah. You pay first. I mean, obviously you got to be able to fill up first, but if you can fill up first, then go pay her with the fucking £20 coin. Then let her melt and see how she's going to deal with that one.
Yeah. Hi, Cheeky Chops. Sorry, Ron, just
Cheeky Chops, what's up? She'll skip your punches. Good to see you as well. Steve, what do you reckon to these fires in LA? I
think they're killing the population. I'm joking.
No, it's
well, there's some crazy people that are already saying this, bro.
That's why I'm saying it. I was listening to. Do you know what? I was listening to. I was on. I can't remember who it was. It might have been. Sarah Bees or whatever. There was this woman that came over. I think it's called Smoking in G Sharp. And she seems like a really cool, chilled, really nice and happy, stoner hippie person. Lovely, like, no harm about it. And I think it was her channel I clicked on. And then I was listening to these people being like, they're doing it on purpose. But now why are they attacking the millionaires? Let's figure out the agenda. And I'm like, don't attack the millionaires.
Millionaires, they're just dry and they burn really well.
They're on a steady diet of kale and grapes. They burn. They're really combustible.
For fuck's sake, I hate conspiracies. Listen, everything's a conspiracy until it's fact, right? I guess, in a way.
Yeah, so like there's the idea of a conspiracy is something that happens every day, and it's a real thing. People conspire to do things all the time. The idea of everything being behind like one or two mischievous bodies of like, yeah, that's right. Dad, put my weed back down.
I fucking picked it up, and his hand appeared. And fucking took it from me.
That's mine. That's mine. But no, yeah, it's you get these, you get them all the time about everything, and like the flat Earth ones are the best. People that are like not just that the Earth's flat, but we're being lied to, and like, oh, they want you to know that it's not round, because if the shape of the planet was different, oh, you'd be free.
Nah, but we got she'll slip your punches here. She's from the States, yeah, and she's saying what the mayor and governor have done in California is criminal.
Tell us more. What have they done?
Yeah, what have they done?
Oh,
She'll slip your punches.
sorry, man.
What
Why
have
am I saying it's your fucking turn?
No, look, it's cool. It's cool. Like, but yeah, what have they done?
I know that I heard a lot of people. One of the big conspiracies that I heard come out was a bunch of very silly people were talking about how it's because of lesbian firefighters. That was one that was hilarious. I was listening to that.
What?
That I heard that on LBC. Somebody was saying that the reason why it's so crazy is because they did DEI and they hired a lesbian fire chief, and so they can't fight fire as efficiently as men, and that's why we have such bad things. And it's wild, man. It's well funny. It's like, oh, I see. Like,
that just sounds stupid. Yes, CP, what's going on?
oh yeah, CP.
CP, did you see the video I done? The funny little video or not? I'm guessing you haven't, because you haven't moaned at me. But don't moan at me, because it is only joke.
What have you done?
You were surprised you were in the chat then, weren't you?
It is only banter. Nah, I don't want a big G as well today. Like, it's just banter over on that second channel. Like, you know what it is? YouTube's lost all its fun, man.
Yeah, you do one of a big G, to be fair, at least a couple of times a week.
Oh, Big G.
Yeah,
The Big G. Yeah, there's one on there of donate.
that Discord was funny. That is, I saw some pictures of them in there. Oh, there you go. Look, speaking of conspiracy theorists, right on cue.
Well, Vincent.
Yeah.
Hiring policies. Oh, is that the lesbians thing as well?
Yeah. This is
Wow.
the whole thing.
Lesbians can't fight fire.
No, it's they're allergic to it. They break out in hives, get itchy.
Well.
Yo,
Yo, CP.
What do you
What's
know
up,
about
CP?
these lesbians, CP?
Hang
What?
on, bear with me.
What do you know about these lesbians?
what legends? What the fuck are you on about?
These lesbians in California, the lesbian firefighters who are doing such a poor job. Everywhere's burning.
I haven't seen
Vincent
anything.
Vega,
I basically
JOJ on a black lesbian or a man to rescue him from a house fire. I don't care. I don't care who the person is. I just want to be rescued. Like if I'm in a place where I need help and someone's there to help me, amazing, absolutely amazing. I don't really care. And it's one, you get some people that go to hospitals and they're like, "Oh, I'm in so much pain." Wait, is that an Indian? No, I want another doctor.
Oh, hang on. Closed dam. What did Slippy Punches say? Closed dams. It took 24 hours to send in the National Guard.
Yeah, see, there you go. That's the sort of stuff that you can really, they're the sort of slip-ups that you will find. Anything from governmental bodies and things like that, that, failing to act quick enough, failing to do things that were predicted either ahead of time or, because to be fair, though, this was quite a quick thing, wasn't it? It started off really small, and then a gust of wind took it to like 200 or 300 acres in like tens of minutes.
Oh. A decade ago, this is what She'll Slip says, a decade ago, California voted to spend billions on storage and reservoirs. Today, Newsom hasn't finished building a single one. Ouch.
Ooh. See, those are there you go. She'll Slip Your Punches. Got some good, credible criticisms.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Nah, I'm only joking. It's the lesbians.
Yeah, it's the lesbians for sure. But no, is there any more to it than that? What the mayor and governor... Oh, that was it. What the mayor and governor have done.
Reese, oi, oi.
Hi, how's it going?
Sorry, I popped to the toilet. Mellows, evening.
Oh, Mellows as well. Hey, how's it going,
Hey
people?
guys,
Hey, Mello.
hello everybody.
Mellows will have some theories for you. Guaranteed.
What theories you want? You want conspiracy theories? You want?
No, just I'll outright ask you, what do you think started the fires?
Fucking aliens, man, with their drones.
It was
They
the
come down here,
drones.
they burn shit up. They come all this way just to burn our shit up, man. You see, that's motherfuckers, man.
Oh yeah, CB. Did you see that video?
Yes, I did. It was funny as heck.
Oh, that's all right then. As long as you
Did
didn't
you
think
guys
of it.
see? And I got permission from the two lads to talk about this. Did you guys see GB Auditor and AJ Audits got their gear seized today outside
Did they?
MI6?
Oh,
Who did?
fuck.
AJ.
AJ, yeah,
Oh,
AJ Audits.
right. Outside MI6.
Yeah, their seemingly new laws came in.
Which one?
They seemingly new laws has came in. I'm waiting to hear back from somebody about these new laws.
What is section is it? Do you know?
I don't even. I can't remember what he said now. 1 second.
What,
National
so
Security
did they get arrested? Did they get arrested?
No, they didn't get nicked, but they were forced to give details or under terrorism and under National Something Act. And also they had all their gear seized as well.
Under the
Yeah.
Something Act. Oh, CP, you didn't pay attention.
You give us half a story, CP.
I got in too late. All this was kicking off when I got into the live.
One job.
One job.
One
yeah.
job.
I
I'm
got
not doing that
messages
crap
from
anymore.
the other thing, messages left, right, and centre from the lads.
About you, Reese, are you another conspiracy theorist? Do you think there's some?
Oh, go on.
Yeah, there's plenty of conspiracies that I'm aware of. The thing is, though, you know, I think the term conspiracy theory has been co-opted, and it's used to discredit perfectly plausible explanations for what's going on. But they just brand it as a conspiracy theory because it makes the people that are talking about it seem like the nutters.
It's actually the CIA that coined the conspiracy theories in order for them
I
to.
agree with you. Oh, sorry, I didn't
Well,
mention
that's why I said earlier that everything's a conspiracy till it's proven as fact. Because, like, come on.
No, they have already new laws has come
It would be
in.
the first time someone's like called something a conspiracy theorist, and some years later it's come out. Oh, guess what? That wasn't a conspiracy after all.
Yeah, MK. That was a conspiracy theory that the CIA were trying to utilize things like LSD for mind control, and then it transpired that actually, really, they were doing human experimentation and stuff like that. And then obviously there was the Tunguski experiment, where they had a load of United States service personnel from the predominantly black community, infected them with syphilis, didn't tell them, and let them spread amongst their communities just to see how syphilis spread. And then there was also, what else was there? The Bay of Pigs incident.
More recently, the chemtrails.
You what, sorry?
More recently, the chemtrails used conspiracy theories, and then they admitted it that they were doing it. So they do it all the time. They even done it in the COVID during during that period. They branded people conspiracy theorists, and then it turns out, lo and behold, these people.
Well, through, isn't it?
It's convenient label. right?
It's just it's part of the process now, isn't it? You get called a conspiracy theorist, and then
But you notice how when these
It's
so-called
a bit like that,
authorities-
Niggy. The way people call people far right these days, man, gets
Right.
used the same.
I'm
Yeah.
far
Way.
left.
Or far left as well. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I
So I've
totally
been reading what
agree.
Joe's been saying about this National Security Act. Yeah, have you been?
National Security Act 2023.
That was the thing. So, how every defence industry supplier in Britain, the National Security Act criminalises taking photographs in certain places or for certain purposes. That, Joe. However,
there
however,
must be exemptions for media companies and that.
an arrest wasn't justified.
Yeah, so in other words, don't be surprised if just random old you or me goes there with a camera and starts filming that you ain't gonna get fucking stopped. Do you know what I mean?
It says,
So
however,
is one of the purposes you're not allowed to take it for clicks and views?
It says, however, they need evidence of a degree of intention by the photographers.
It's very, very difficult to prove intention, though, isn't it?
That's where they start taking your cameras off you and going through the pictures, isn't it?
Yeah.
Finding that, you've gone from there to there.
So they use it as a deterrent, right? So they'll just railroad you and take you along for the ride, knowing that they're just going to let you, off at the end of it anyway. But
Punishment
in the meantime,
they can
you
keep
can
you
take,
stuck for a long time.
The punishment, isn't it?
yeah.
They can keep you stuck for bloody years.
I
can't
actually think that the journalists and media companies are exempt from these laws, though they should be anyway. So they may be.
Yeah, they're going to be going there with notice, right? So a lot like if you were say, let's just use the BBC, right? And I'm going to go there working for the BBC. Someone's probably going to have signed off on that. Someone's going to give them the heads up. Look, we're coming today.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's where they don't get hassled because they're probably already communicating and letting them know what's going on.
Do you think auditors are journalists, BBA?
I don't know. No,
They're certainly operating under the free press license, but I wouldn't.
It's a form of. I mean, it depends what you want to define journalism. It depends what you want to define journalism as.
There are some auditors I would class as journalists. Yes.
I would. Well, journalists are normally trained. I would say the best.
Nah, but hang on. What do you mean trained?
Well, hang on. Let me finish. I would say. Well, because journalists go to uni and stuff for it, don't they?
Ah, so if I go to uni first, I can then call myself a journalist. But if I don't go to uni,
I think
journalists.
If you're not a trained journalist, the best you can be then, I guess, is a reporter. I think there's a difference between the two.
Well, no, a citizen journalist. Anyone can be a citizen journalist.
Well,
anyone can make that distinction.
Anyone can claim to be.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, whether you're a good journalist or a bad journalist, that's just a matter of opinion, right? But anyone, that's the whole point of. The whole point of the right to free press. That any one of us has the right to free press, right? So we can, gather content for a story and disseminate it to the public. That is our right. Okay.
That's the right of the press. Yes.
That's the right of any person.
Okay.
We all have the right to free press. Now, whether we want to exercise it or not. No, but a journalist is just a term, right? I mean, it's like a driver. Are you a good driver or a bad driver? If you're behind the wheel, you're a driver, right?
So
you're not exactly a Formula One driver, but you drive.
It's a trade, is it not? Is it not
Sorry?
a trade? The journalism is a trade.
Yeah, I mean, just like anything is
I was a tradesman, and I'd be pissed off if everyone and his dog.
Well, just like driving is a trade, right?
But then you say I know people that have got. I know people that have got a trade. I know people that are builders, but they don't have it fucking. But they've got fucking 25 years of fucking building houses.
Well, let me just bring it back to the
Well, they
cars,
are
right? I mean, anybody's got
Yeah,
the
it's
right to drive a
qualifications,
car.
I
But,
get.
but,
Everyone's got the right to
work,
call
it's
themselves a
work
driver.
is what qualifies him, bro. It's work.
Well,
But
because I spent.
not anyone can be a Formula One driver, for example. Do you know what I mean?
But I spent a lot of a long time learning my trade.
Of course.
And then to have, if someone was to come along and call themselves, equally skilled as me, I'd be fucking.
No, equally skills is a different category altogether.
Well,
Like I said, anyone can call themselves a driver, right? Anyone can be a driver, and you pass your test. Anyone, but not anyone can be a Formula One driver, right?
Not everyone can, but not everyone can drive a JCB,
Exactly,
or an Arctic or stuff
Right.
like that. I mean, there's
But
different levels.
but the right to drive,
professional drivers, aren't there? And there's
but the right to be called a driver. I mean, everyone has the right to be called a driver. If you're sitting behind the wheel and you're driving,
If you did a bit of racing on a motorway with somebody, you wouldn't then call yourself "I'm a race car driver." You might race in your car, but you're not necessarily a race car driver. And anyone.
Well, no, you're not. Nobody's saying that they're like a pure. No one's Britain or someone's not going out there saying that they're a Pulitzer Prize journalist, right? Everyone has the right to be a citizen journalist, whether you're good.
I do agree with you.
Whether you're good or not, whether you've got a degree.
I noticed you see, like, you qualified with the citizen part. It's the
that's the difference.
The journalist.
Right? I think you're both right. I think that to be like a citizen journalist is to be a citizen journalist, but you're not a journalist; you're a citizen journalist. It's like similar, very similar. But obviously, one is a trade and one does, require a degree and amount of study in communications about.
Well, because you would be employed by some media company who wants to wants you to be qualified.
Like journalists say, but you don't. It's not like a necessity. You can still be a journalist. And you
might not get hired by the Sun, for instance.
Sorry,
but. You might not get hired by the Sun or the News of the World, for example.
The Sun will hire anyone. There's
a lot of people who wouldn't work for the Sun.
They are slimy people.
But I mean, we do have the right to gather a story, create content, gather a story, and disseminate it to the public, especially if it's a matter of public interest, right? You don't have to have a PhD or a degree or a master's degree. Or be and that's the beauty of the internet and the platforms that we use today. That years ago, that you would, if you had a video or a story, and you put some and you wanted to get it out there, you would have to contact the BBC or the newspaper and hope that they would take interest in your story. But now you can literally create a video, upload it to YouTube, Facebook, wherever, X, and disseminate that story to the public, right?
Yeah, you'd be a citizen journalist. I totally agree with you, and I think that if you were out and about and somebody was like, "Oh, I'm a citizen journalist," then I don't think many people would be like, "Oh, okay, that's not a problem," because that's fine. Anyone can be. But I think it's when you identify as the journalist part, it kind of implies
to apply for an NUJ. To apply for an NUJ card, it literally is just a membership fee. You know that, right?
Well, I'm not disputing that either. What I am saying is that, like, journalism, the trade of journalism, to be a journalist is, there is varying degrees of it. You have citizen journalists and you have a load of other kinds of journalism. You could be a freelance journalist and do, just literally record things on your own and send them off to people, and then it's their choice whether or not they air it. You don't even need a degree for that. But journalism itself is a specific trade. I'm not disagreeing with you, by the way.
It is, and it's a skilled trade, man. But you don't necessarily need a degree to do it, right? You only need a degree to get a job in those high-paying places, right? That's the only reason.
Or to be considered a journalist by trade, you need a degree.
Well, I mean, what is a journalist by trade? I mean, somebody who works for the mainstream media.
Has a trade that's studied for it.
Somebody who works for the mainstream media.
Well, a trade is defined by a skill you have to study and learn towards in a formal environment. So where you're actually learning and being mentored by others, you're undergoing tests and examinations. That's what a trade is, isn't it? A trade is That's why it's different from a job. It's something that you have.
Well,
to
the key is in the word, right? The right to free press. When everyone has the right to free press, which means, I mean, it's free, and it's not because it's free because we don't pay for it. It's free because it's free from government interference, right? So any one of us has the right to create a story and disseminate it to the public without government interest, right? Free from government
absolutely.
And you could do that.
I don't think anyone was countenancing that.
As a citizen journalist,
nobody suggested that kind of thing, or government interference. Can I just have a word about a word with Big G, who says that degrees are not worth the paper they're written on anymore. I'm going to disagree with him. It's because, and the reason is because companies prefer people who have a degree.
Yes. Even in society,
it doesn't matter what subject it's in.
No.
It shows that you are you're capable of listening to information, taking it on board, and being able to regurgitate it later.
In reality, the reason why they take on people with degrees and qualifications, it's down to liability, right? They on paper they can say, well, look, I employed somebody who was certified, qualified, and and if he didn't do the job, at least my job, I did what I was supposed to do. I employed somebody who was qualified and certified, and he had the proof to prove it. Do you know what I mean? Whether he did the job or not is irrelevant. But
that's why I think journalism is a trade, and
it is a trade.
Would you?
But journalism itself
is
different.
No, it is a trade. Honestly, it is a trade, and it's a skill.
Everybody is a journalist. Anybody.
Anyone what?
Anybody can be a journalist. You don't need any qualifications.
Citizen
I'm
journalist.
Surprised. No. Anybody can be a journalist.
Maybe
if you have listening skills and you're able to.
No, there are many mainstream reporters, journalists.
You are a journalist if you're doing it. If you're passing it out to the public.
You're reporting.
That's the definition of a journalist.
But does that then extend to, so if you're walking down the street per se, and you just walk down the street and you take a 3-second clip and then post it onto YouTube, are you a content creator or a journalist?
Depends.
I'm not saying that. And when I say 3-second clip, I just mean that let's say that you were silent. You walk along the front. The simple act of documenting.
Technically, yes.
Showing it to somebody else doesn't make you a journalist.
Technically, you were walking down the street.
No, not by trade.
If you were walking down the street and you captured the video of public interest,
you're not wrong that by definitionally speaking, anyone can be a journalist. The difference is, and this is what we're saying, is that when you get people that go, "Oh, I'm a journalist," look, you're a citizen journalist or potentially a reporter, but you're not a journalist by trade. Journalism, I'd
agree with that. I agree. I do agree with that.
So
I do agree that someone can go and buy trade.
The SDS card, unless you've got the qualification behind.
No, I agree with that.
I would go as far as you're not a journalist by trade unless you're getting paid by some organisation for your journalism, whether you've got a degree in it or not. If you're getting paid for that work, that content, then you qualify as a journalist, in my opinion.
The main thing is, though, it's obviously because it is an accepted trade. The main thing is to be like, well, what is a trade and what separates it from a job? And it's the act of studying and learning, getting the degrees. That's the difference between a trade and a job.
Because studying on the job, you can gain experience
So there are now courses for people to learn journalism. Because there aren't enough honest journalists. You've got a lot of journalists who actually dish out the stuff which they are told to dish out. They're not independent.
And that's not journalism at all.
That's not journalism, either. No.
That's the
so
BBC,
the people that work for mainstream are the ones that do that.
CP, your audio's low, I can't hear.
Is it? What's that?
Sorry, CP. Say that again.
I'm trying to talk one thing. Can you hear me now?
Much better.
Yeah.
Outlooking has a fair point on there in the chat.
So, new media journalists. Yeah, that is what we are meant to be known as. Yeah.
No, that's not true. No, that's not true.
What did you say? I didn't hear it properly. What did she say?
No disrespect to you, CP, but like I watch your lives, yeah, and there's definitely no way you're a journalist, even a
No.
citizen journalist.
You don't even tell a story. Do you know what I mean? You're not.
I would say,
replaying-
and I've said it before, like if anything, you'd come under more like the vlogging side of things rather than
Yeah,
any kind of journalism.
absolutely.
To be honest,
I think you should just.
This is the difference. I think maybe we should settle on that definition of outlaws. You know, to say that it's.
which is what? Hang on, I've lost it. Where
he
were
said
we
it was more of a profession than a trade. But there again, he said, yeah, that was him then. You start as apprentice and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, listen. Like I say, there's definitely a difference, man, and there's difference
Yeah.
between someone being a professional journalist, yeah,
Yeah.
and say like a citizen journalist.
Okay, so
Because-
what's a freelance
Because there's
journalist?
definitely things that I would like to think that I've done on my channel, not all the time, but there are bits of content and videos that I've done and stuff that I've definitely done, which I would say was definitely journalism. Could someone
can I
definitely do
ask
it better than me? 100%, but it was a form of journalism, and I didn't just record something. I went
I think
away.
the main thing
I
is to remember
gathered
it's like a Venn
information.
diagram. It's like a Venn diagram. There's lots of overlap. You know, there's no clear defined.
Okay, what's a freelance journalist?
A freelance.
Someone that works for themselves.
No, they're the ones that work from the country freelance.
Well, they don't.
Sure,
They don't work for a single organisation.
No,
Not
they work for
employed
themselves.
by
No, yeah, of course. Yes.
Murdoch.
But
They're
the
not
reason,
employed by the BBC or ITV.
Right.
Freelance
Nah, but
journalist.
those
They're
companies
employed by
would
all of
probably, those media outlets would still probably expect you to have some kind of degree over
They'll
someone
tell
who
the
has
stories to all those people, won't they?
yeah, freelancers, you know, not hired by one specific, but it's free to work amongst them all. But like the reason why journalism is considered a trade specifically because it involves a specific skill set with practical experience and expertise. This is the main thing that is taught to them with refined through
How do you
practice.
get a press card? That's the next
Sorry?
question. How do you get
an
a press
NUJ card. Yeah, so technically, if I get an NUJ
No,
card,
a press card. Is
Oh,
there an
That's
NUJ card?
National Union of Journalists you're talking about there.
Yeah.
There, isn't it?
How do you get
What we're saying.
a press
Don't
card
know. You
issued?
tell us.
You can apply online.
You
tell
don't.
us.
It's an interesting
Well,
You
there
have
you
to
go.
go. You have to go.
Well, I-
through
The organisation that you work for issues you a press pass to identify you.
Right.
But a
no,
press
what I'm
pass,
saying,
Ah,
right,
there
if
you
I
go.
go and buy an NUJ card,
there's
by
no
right,
You
organisation.
were a
I'm a
member.
journalist, right?
You
The
apply.
NUJ recognises me as a journalist at that point, right?
So if you are a member of one of the main unions, whether that be the NUJ, whether that be BECTU, right, whether that be Prospect, right, or you're employed as a journalist for anybody, if you can demonstrate that you have income which is more than 50%, you can then apply through any of the outlets that send the information off to the press card company. There is a single company that issues press cards, right? And they make money off it. But you have to go apply for it through a recognised third party, such as a union. If you work for a company but you're not in a union, for argument's sake, like the BBC will apply that for you to get that press card. They can issue
That's
any
not how it works.
company.
I'm
It is,
reading
'cause
what
I've
I'm
just been
reading
through
here.
it. That's how come I know.
Yeah,
What I'm reading here is that there are
Right.
very strict criteria to get a press pass.
yeah, this
To
is
get the
according
press
to the National
card.
Writers
Yeah,
Union.
man, you just sign up to
There
the
are-
NUJ, man.
Need evidence of 3 published print.
Okay. All right, forget it. You're not listening, so
And it,
no problem.
Oh, hang on. You did say press pass, didn't you?
Yes.
Right.
Well, I said press card, actually.
Same thing.
Is there a difference?
Well, a press pass is one which is issued by the organisation that you're working on behalf of, or you're going into Parliament. Parliament will issue you with a parliamentary press pass. But again, strict vetting goes into it. going to Buckingham Palace, it's issued by Buckingham Palace or the security services. Again, strict vetting is done, right? But
There
to
you
get
go.
an actual press card, you
Link is
cannot,
in the
if you
chat.
are not being paid and you're not getting more than 50%, you cannot go through the third parties. You would have to apply directly for it and argue to get it. If you are doing citizen journalism where you're not getting paid, right, you cannot get a press card because there is nowhere that actually issues them. The only way that you can do it is if you work for a company or on behalf of a company, or you're doing work on behalf of a company, then the company can issue you with a press card, because a press card just confirms that you are part and parcel of that organization. The majority of people who claim that they have a press card will happily show it to the police, for argument's sake, because it has their photo on it and it has their name on it. However, if you're issued through a private entity a press card, it doesn't have to have your name on it, but you can still show it, and it confirms that you're working on behalf of that organisation. I've tried to get a press card. This is how come I know how it works. And I spoke to 2 different unions and they gave me the answers. It's not possible. You paid it through the union. It doesn't cost a lot to get it.
It sounds like someone gave him the runaround, man, because that's not exactly.
Well, okay, so the
there's a link in the chat, guys. NUJ, you can sign up. You can sign up.
Okay,
they do ask you how much money you earn. They do ask you how much money you earn.
You're always doing that, aren't you? I was trying to explain to you that I have gone through it, and I also did further research to find out what they were saying was correct.
Okay.
So the only
to be honest, guys, I'm going to tell you you're all wrong and tell you I've got a press card that I made.
Yeah, you've issued it yourself. You made it yourself.
That I made myself and ordered, designed, and had it done.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Yeah, it's worked. I'll be honest, it has worked at times. It has.
It's a press pass.
It's a press
there is no organisation that issues press pass because it's a right. Okay?
There are 6.
There are companies that issue their employees with press passes to identify them that they actually work for the BBC.
No, so you can get independent press passes through various organisations. There are about
if you work for them, you can join. You can join something like the NUJ.
The non-refundable admin fee about 40 quid. Chartered Institute of Journalists. They issue press cards and stuff. There are some.
The link is in the chat.
You have to be a journalist, but you can't be a citizen journalist and get it, in the sense that you have to have published works. You have to have provide a bank statement as well to prove that some of your income is actually from journalism and that you are a journalist and not just some random citizen journalist or somebody off the street that's, trying to get into certain areas by being nefarious. So the criteria that they have is that basically you have to be approvable. You have to be an actual journalist, and how they define that is by having this whole trade of journalism.
Yes,
and so
you have to be paid.
Where also, so you can get a press pass if you wanted to, an independent press pass. They don't cost that much.
That's what I'm saying. You have to be paid.
Not by anybody specific. You just have to. You could have been paid by any potential outlet, literally anyone. You can go to joeblogs.com and they could pay you for journalism. You could be getting paid by YouTube for your journalism. As long as you're being paid and you can prove that it's for journalism, that you are a journalist, that is your trade, and that you earn money by doing that, and you're not just some random person.
Yeah,
that's how it is. But
I was approached by a voluntary organisation to see how they could get press passes issued, because they had a group of people who were working for them that they classed as journalists, because they went out, did research, interviewed people, and they passed the information back to their voluntary organisation to pass out to the other volunteers. They couldn't get hold of any press passes through the normal sources because they weren't being paid. So my advice to them was for them to issue their own, because there's nothing to stop them from doing it. And I know that Bear's done it, and I know that he's got one. And that's the only way around it. And to provide you're quite happy to show it to the police, 9 times out of 10 they'll let you through if necessary to report on something.
Who did you get yours off, Bear? NUJ?
He made it himself.
He got it from Dr. Dre.
Did you make it yourself, Bear?
I heard that car.
Right.
So you made it yourself. Good job.
No, but you can do that stuff, and nobody's denying that. But what it doesn't do is, if you need to get into anywhere that's a restricted area, let's say something's really kicking off, there's like, I don't know, let's say like a terrorist event or something like that. Anywhere where there's a restriction on, you're only allowed to go where the public can go, whereas a journalist can almost freely go pretty much anywhere. That if they've got a press pass, they can go into this very serious situations. They can, if their press pass isn't just something to flash, it's something that actually carries weight and enables them to do things that a member of the public can't. So, you know, it's like, I do understand the need for them.
Subject to the force allowing it, yes.
It's like a Venn diagram, and there's a lot of overlap in that stuff. But you can just print yourself one off, but it doesn't have any of the same weight as an actual press pass.
Got your face on it and everything, hasn't it? Press pass. Press card.
You can make a face on it, but
I'm saying it looks like a driving license.
Unless it's a recognised one, you ain't getting in any restricted areas. You know, there's no privileges.
Associated members, if you have a full-time job outside journalism, but prepare factual written, visual or audio material of public concern or dissemination through public media and support trade union rights and journalist standards, you may qualify for associate membership of the union.
Right.
Community journalism, whose primary sources of income is from non-journalist work, may also qualify for associate membership.
But you'll have to prove what work you've done though and stuff, won't you?
You have to have
you have to have proof of what you've done for sure.
Yeah, i.e. a YouTube channel, right?
I don't know.
Or even a website which reports.
So, it would be factual written, visual or audio material of public concern for dissemination through public media.
Right. You're supposed to, well, I've lost it. I don't know where it is now, but I did have the list of what you need to be. You need to show your past that you've been doing it in the past, and you've got to
show bank statements. I mean, it could well be that your
bank statements.
You could say that YouTube is employing me, but I think you've got to be employed as a journalist. You've got to work in order to prove that you are a journalist. You've got to say, look, I'm in the trade. I've worked in the job that is journalism, and not just I'm a random person with the camera, because.
So here we go. The union shall consist of journalists, including photographers, creative artists, working editorially in newspapers, magazines, books, broadcasting, public relations, communications.
Oh, Mr. In Between. Sorry, Brian.
Or as advertising and fashion photographers, advertising copywriters, front-end developers, and coders. Teachers of journalism in the FE or the HE or any English language journalist, or a journalist working in English who is a member of an IFJ affiliated union.
I don't think anyone's arguing with it. Nobody's. I don't know. I don't think anyone is arguing with it, to be honest. It's just.
I'm saying is practically anybody who wants to become a journalist, an accredited journalist.
Listen, the fact of the matter is, someone's going to end up working for these big corporations, for instance, more so with a qualification. It's not to say someone without a qualification couldn't still become like a really accredited fucking journalist. However, it's few and far between compared to those that go through the correct channels, right? Like I say, and that's just the top and bottom of it. Is somebody a journalist? Yeah, if they've got enough. I would say if there's a backlog of work that they've already done that shows journalism, then they're a journalist, man. Yes, like I say, I know, but there has to be that.
Yeah,
but you're no less a journalist if you're just starting out. And the one I want to say as well is just sort of meld it all together, because I don't think any one individuals are wrong. It's just about the semantics of it and the definitions, and it gets a bit boring. But sorry, But I think that what we can all agree on is that journalism is essentially an umbrella term. And while we may be debating the very the different versions and varieties that are incorporated under the umbrella of journalism, that that is the case. It's an umbrella term that covers a lot of stuff. If you think of it like a Venn diagram, like I said, lots of overlaps, lots of.
I think we have to be careful that we don't put this journalism on a pedestal that makes it so unreachable to the general layman, right? Because anybody can be a journalist. All they have to do is literally.
Anyone can take education and learning.
The question is, should we be advocating for more independent kind of
yes, we should not
rather than wanting more
if the BBC
of the
have taught us
corporation.
anything. If the BBC has taught us anything,
as I was just saying at the beginning of this, what was interesting, apparently Piers Morgan hasn't renewed his contract with Rupert Murdoch, right? Okay. Now, I've been wondering if maybe he's done that so that he's got a bit more free reins on his own show to speak, man.
Maybe indeed. Because Murdoch, right, so here's a belief I have. I don't know how controversial it is, but I want absolutely rid of foreign ownership of British newspapers. I don't think any good has come of foreign ownership of British newspapers. I think foreign owners, Murdoch and people, they influence the public to influence politics to make it go their way. They're fucking disaster capitalists, most of them, these fucking people. And
isn't that done?
They're making money out of shit that comes our way. And I think these people, it should not be allowed. I think British newspapers should be owned. Do you think
that the media has a massive influence on what goes on in politics?
Yes.
Yeah, hugely.
Yeah.
And should it?
Two go hand in hand.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, the people. Yes. I mean, politicians absolutely should listen to the people.
You wouldn't know who the politicians were if it wasn't for media. They'd have to go to everybody's door, and it wouldn't work, and you wouldn't have these. I mean, there'll be rallies, and you might hear pray tell of some orange guy with a crazy hairdo saying something crazy in the stadium over there, but you wouldn't have televising it brings it to and putting it onto it.
Yeah. Also, sorry guys, to be real, I just welcome Mr. In Between onto the panel. And was there anything you wanted to add to what we've already spoke about before I completely move on? Because you've obviously been sat listening. You there, mate?
I could just hear him.
We can't hear you. There's some audio issue, maybe. Definitely can't hear him. Try jumping out, Mr. In Between, jumping back in. Yeah, I'd agree with that. There's far less money in independent journalism. That's the thing as well, isn't it? Like what form of journalism I can do, I guess, again, is limited to a certain degree on my abilities intellectually. But a lot of it, again, is going to be to do with funding and resources, contacts. That all comes from.
After what happened with Maxwell and the Mirror, I don't think any British ownership would ever come back to the newspapers, for argument's sake, or the media.
Was he not American, Maxwell? Was it? Did you?
No, I thought he was British.
I thought he was American. Did he not change?
Maxwell was British.
Did he change his nationality, or am I?
So, Rachel, Red Shutter, good to see you.
He might have had dual citizenship, possibly. But nobody would really know now because he went down with his boat. That's another story.
He went down without his boat. Yeah. Somebody pushed him.
But with all the pensions.
Yeah. Oh, well, there was no getting out of that, was there? It was coming out and he was nicked. So he was either pushed or... Yeah, Red Shutter, good to see you. Yeah. He was absolutely...
I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories of what happened back then.
He was bulls. Well, he could very well have been pushed off that boat, couldn't he?
What saying about the media as well? Like the same goes for from other countries. Should we be having foreign influence pushed onto our government and like in our politics, i.e., with what you're seeing with like Elon Musk, etc.?
No,
About getting
Those
get
guys that-
Israel out of British politics.
as many people are letting that, because I mean we can talk about Israel, but the overt stuff. This is so overtly in your face. This is I'm using my wealth to try and influence politics in a particular way. I mean the guy's, you know, he's just it just I don't like it. I'm not saying that he's done anything wrong. I mean,
Do you know what these people like? Can I just say, yeah, I don't think these people like even the Elon Musks. They don't care about us, mate. It's
they don't
if
give
what
a
they're
fuck.
saying's good and it sells and it's selling their brand, then they're going to do it. If you look at Mark Zuckerberg in recent days, yeah, he's come out now and had put this big thing out about how he wants to look at reforming like Facebook and allow more free speech again, which is basically what he's doing is he's doing that to kind of fit with the whole new Trump thing, yeah. But if you look 4 years ago, he was like, so he doesn't know what he wants. He doesn't have any like specific
Mate.
morals. He's willing to change with the weather. You know, these people don't care about us, man. It's what will sell and what puts money in their pocket.
I tell you what, I followed Musk, right? I've followed Musk quite closely for years now. Mainly because of his space stuff, right? I'm an absolute fucking fan of space and anything that goes into it. But I what I've noticed recently, and I'm starting to believe now, he's got fucking visions of world domination. That fucker, he really has, mate. He's got. I'm starting to think he wants to rule the world. I really am.
You think who wants to rule the world?
Musk. I think he's got a delusion going in his mind that he can run the world. No,
Bill
I
Gates, George Soros,
him as well.
Yeah, it could be right, man. I mean, isn't he meant to be like wealthiest guy in the world?
Easily the wealthiest man in the world. Yeah, comfortably.
At times,
Do you think he wants to rule the world?
Oh, yeah, you know, Mr. Inventory. Do you think he wants to? Did you say?
It's control, isn't it? It's all about control, man. People just don't know where to fucking stop. I mean, he's going to send. He says he's going to send 1 million people to Mars, but they're going to be under his rule as well. Do you know what I mean? That's not going to be a free society. That's going to be colony Musk.
Sends to Mars will be under his care if he sends people to Mars.
You'd be God.
Even that, people going to go to Mars. People are going to die, man. Going to Mars, like loads. Even trying to colonize it, loads of people are going to die. Shitloads.
Lots will, but I mean, lots will go.
You're telling me you're still up for that, even if you know you're being sent to your death?
Yeah, I'd go.
I honestly, I have one thought at a time, and if I'm on a rocket ship, then that'd be the best thing ever. No, I'm only joking. I would go up if it was offered. I'd be on the first ship too. I'd test it out.
I've done my stuff, raised a family. You know, I've lived my life. I'm getting on to be I am an old man now.
All right, so we're saying as long as we find old people, it's all right.
Well, what's old people have lifetimes experience, don't they? Inside every old person is a lifetime's experience, mate.
Yeah, they're the ones that are definitely going to die out in space, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, space will be littered with like the bodies of dead people and frozen Word as originals.
There you go. Yeah, the frozen fucking adult nappies.
Oh yeah, and we could hear you now, Mr. In Between. So I was saying before, was there any input that you had on what we were saying before? Because I know you were obviously listening in, then jumped up regarding journalism.
In terms of the journalism thing, I mean, I think independent journalism, what you see on YouTube, what you see on, good social media platforms, I think that's true journalism. I don't think you can ever call the mainstream media true journalism because they've all got a massive agenda. They're all there for it's money at the end of the day. That's what they're looking for. And although you can monetize YouTube, of course you can, and you can monetize little bits and bobs for yourself. The most interesting stuff for people, I think, is the raw footage. I mean, you do a lot of it, and the people I cover on my channel do a lot of it. So I think that's important.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the question that was asked right at the beginning was like, is auditing journalism?
Absolutely, 100%.
You think it is?
1,000,000%. It can't be anything else.
Regardless of who that auditor is. So out of every auditing video you've ever watched, you would put them all under the journalism category.
100%, because you can have bad journalism and good journalism, but it doesn't mean to say that it's not journalism.
I agree with him. To be honest with you, I think it does count. It's a form of journalism. It's also, like I say, by the diagram, it crosses over. This place intersects with activism as well. It's like activism journalism, essentially.
Yeah. It's raw. It's not diluted by what someone else wants you to see. It's mostly. Say that again, mate.
Is that not just reporting then?
That's journalism, yeah.
Well, no, I think there's a difference between.
Well, do you think there's a defined difference between reporting and journalism?
They're one and the same.
Yes.
Well, what's the difference?
Well, because I think what auditors do isn't journalism. I don't for a minute think it's journalism. Journalists, we've been through this. Journalists going through a whole education and stuff.
Sorry, what do you mean to go through a whole education? What do you mean?
Well, you've got to go a whole education that teaches them how to gather and present your news and information through different media. Reporting reporting is, if you like, a subset of journalism. It's focused specifically on something, and it's not the broad journalism.
Reporting is a form of journalism.
Focus specifically on collecting facts, conducting interviews, and delivering information directly to the audience.
Yeah,
whereas journalism is the broader field that encompasses
all of that,
the gathering, assessing, and presenting,
including photography, videography, editing, post-editing. All of that is all encompassing in the editorial. All of that is journalism. Everything.
Because you can be an editor of content without being a journalist. You can be. They are all areas that are encompassed within it, just like reporting. So when people go out and do reporting on the streets and things like that, that is an area of journalism. But the trade
paparazzi, all they do is take the pictures, right?
Sorry.
Paparazzi, all they do is snap away at the pictures.
Yeah, they're reporters.
Right. They just take the pictures and they give them to the journalists, and journalists sit there and write the stories.
If you like,
with the picture,
that would make make them reporters passing it.
Photographic reporters.
But they all
same with say you take like a press conference at a sport event, for instance. Yeah, everyone that would be sat behind asking those questions with record on their little fucking audios will be reporters. Yeah. Because some of those people don't necessarily then go away and write up that story themselves. They'll give it to an ed.
Yeah.
They'll give it to somebody else that will do that.
That's how I understand it there, yeah.
There's a whole team behind those reporters, right? There's the camera guy, there's the editor, there's the guy in the ear, there's the script writer, there's this researcher.
And neither one of them are journalists, really. And then
they all are operating under the journalism license, right? To bring and disseminate.
They all have press passes.
And I think Vincent Vega has a point that some independent journalism can be damaging because, again, if we're talking about somebody that's not got qualifications to do so and doesn't really understand really the concept of journalism properly, but thinks that they do a little bit that is essentially journalism, then you're going to get a lot of people that would be going around, flying around, a lot of misinformation, etc.
It's just like driving,
so it
right?
can
There
be
are a lot of
damaging.
people that shouldn't be on the road, right? But they are, they've got licenses and they're
that's why
driving
you have
around.
to pass a test and you have to study and learn and then pass this qualification. You can be
Right,
on the
and
road.
they still drive like shit, right?
Oh yeah, you're right, and that's where the argument then goes into good journalism, bad journalism. But the reality is that you're not a driver until you get that test. You're not a journalist until you do that. You may be a reporter, which is a subset of journalism. It's a big, broad umbrella of terms that encompasses a lot of things. But you're not a journalist until you are, you have mastered all of those things, qualified for them, and then moved on with it. Do you know what I mean? So, like, you can be a citizen journalist, which is a reporter, basically. You can be, there's all sorts of little grey areas and things. But
There's a lot of things that encompass the journalist. It's like an umbrella that encompasses a lot of different things, that would include, if you wanted to bring a story together, even if you're on your own, you have to wear multiple different hats. You have to edit your own videos. You have to do all of this and take the videos, and then do the
you have to present it in a manner. You don't necessarily have to. You don't have to do the editing and things yourself. But you're.
No, I'm saying if you're on your own, you have to. If it's just you, then you ain't got no choice. It's just you making all those videos.
Yeah, at which point you would be then, if you can be on your own doing all the editing, and you're still a journalist. You can do all that, and you're still a journalist. But if you're going out with the camera and you're just doing your own thing, looking at a specific event, we'll use CP as an example. If you're looking at protests and things like that, she's a reporter at protests. She's not a journalist. She goes out, she records one thing, she talks about one specific thing, and even if she has like a sort of variety of sort of subjects, it's all in the same format. It's not journalism. It's a reporting, which is an aspect of journalism. Like how
So is
boxers,
photography.
so
is photography and
like
videography.
boxing is a martial art, but it's only one aspect of mixed martial arts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like that.
So is photography and videography something you don't
Evening,
always,
Nomadic.
the
Evening,
journalist, the presenter, and the photographer being the same person is good if you can, but sometimes you get a whole team of people. You've got a photographer going out with the journalist, reporter, you've got the videographer, all of these people are all journalists. They're all the same
what people think. So being a reporter, you're not a journalist. Is that what people are saying?
No, it's like no. I'm not saying that.
The other way around.
I'm saying that we're defining it. You know what I mean? Because journalism is such an umbrella term that incorporates a lot of different aspects to it. One of those aspects is reporting. But
yes,
if you're, you know what I mean. But it's like around going.
If you're a reporter, you're essentially a journalist.
CP saying, "Well,
Yes.
I'm a journalist."
No.
Well, no, you're doing one aspect of journalism. So definitionally, I mean, you've got one of them down, but you are.
What does the word journalist mean then?
Well, you tell us. Have you got it?
Yeah. What's your understanding?
To me, my understanding, journalism is the art of gathering content of public interest and disseminating it to the public.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you're qualified and you have a degree and you went to a certain, posh college or not.
Yeah. So here's where it's
irrelevant.
So, like,
whether you work for a BBC or whatever, it's irrelevant. If you are doing those things, if you've got a video camera and you're going out there and you're recording a story and then you upload it to YouTube, you are operating under the free press license. You are a journalist.
I don't disagree with
definition.
you. The distinction is this, and I think the better way would be like an analogy. So if you think of think of it in terms of another trade like bricklayer. So you go to your college, whatever you study, you do an apprenticeship, which is a specific form of learning. You go out, you get qualified, and then you go off and you become a bricklayer. Now, if you go out in your garden without any qualifications and lay bricks, you are a bricklayer by definition. But the reality is you're not the tradesman. You are not in the trade.
Nah, but again, I would say that depends, bro, because like I say, I genuinely do know people, right, that have got like 25 years building houses and they do not have a qualification doing so. But they can build you top-notch houses, have done it all they've all done it all their working life, and you're going to tell me they're not a builder? They're not a builder by trade.
Not by trade. Because in order to get that trade, you need the cards, you need the qualifications.
You're crazy, man. He can build this guy's on serious dough that I'm talking about. Like he can build a fucking house quick.
Without any formal, if he's never had any sort of formal training that is required to become that trade, he's not legally allowed to be registered and insured on a site unless he had some sort of education, some formal sort of education.
He would have. He just won't have the qualification, bro. He just won't have the papers. Like he hasn't just like taught himself. Someone taught him along the way, but he's never gone and got that qualification. That doesn't mean he's not a builder by trade.
Card and things like that, because I've done a bit of I did study bricklaying specifically as well. That's one of the reasons why I keep falling back on. But in order to be a bricklayer, you got to, not just it's in order to be on the site itself, you have to qualify for an SCS card and things like that. There are many formal bits of things. If he's managing to make it without getting caught this long, well done to him. But by definition,
I didn't say he didn't have it. You just said that. I didn't say he didn't have a CSCS card and he weren't allowed to be on site.
No, I'm just saying that like you have to have some sort of formal. You have to go.
What, to build a house? You're telling me someone has to have to be able to touch bricks on a house. You're telling me they need to be qualified.
The only time you're going to need a qualification, right?
Legally, professionally, you have to go through.
The only time you're going to need a piece of paper.
And that's and that's the difference between somebody that if I go out in my back garden and build myself a little stone wall, I am not a mason. I'm somebody that's
a bad comparison.
But I have done
unknown baguettes, man. Jesus,
that's a really bad comparison. Now, if you're saying that if you're saying that you need qualifications to be a builder, you absolutely do because it's regulated. Journalism isn't regulated in the UK. Anyone can be a journalist.
It is regulated, and you are held to an account. You cannot misspread
Regulated by-
misinformation.
Regulated.
There are
It's the whole point of
regulated
free
by-
press.
It's regulated by law, isn't it?
We
There
haven't
are
got a free
communications.
press as such, have we?
No, you're not
It's
allowed
not
to hate them with
regulated.
per se.
It's
There are
not.
very strict restrictions on.
How are you
what
going to
can
regulate
There
free
isn't.
press?
What are you talking
There
about?
are
It
absolutely.
wouldn't be free
very
press then, would it?
Name one.
Tell me
Name
how
one.
they can, because there's things that you wouldn't report on, or things that you wouldn't present. There are things that the government will fucking have you for, and that is
Yeah,
control.
libels.
So there is some restrictions regarding reporting around court cases, of course, but that's in legislation.
Yeah, yeah.
There is
But
no
that's for every-
regulatory body. There's no
You can't
regulatory
incite
body.
violence. You can't incite violence. There's quite a lot, isn't there? That you can't
Like
violence.
libel, for instance, you can't.
It's
Yeah,
Nothing to do with journalism.
There are
That's
a lot
nothing
of-
to
there
do with
are a fair
journalism.
few rules,
I've
but
just
it's
having
not
a,
free
just having a
press as
look
such,
now.
is it?
So journalists are often restricted by legal, ethical, and organisational guidelines, just like every other trade. So, like you are
You're held
subject
to account for what you say, aren't you?
Yeah,
This
to
is
aim the
what-
balance
Yeah,
of
if you're not a
press and
journalist,
legal and
you're
ethical
held to account if you're not a
responsibilities. There are
journalist as well.
restrictions in place for press. There are
There's
things
no
that they can't
regulatory
do.
body for journalism
Right.
in the UK. Zero.
No.
There's what?
There's no regulatory body in the UK for journalism. None.
It wouldn't be free press otherwise if you didn't.
Exactly.
Easy
Right, so
now.
not specifically, but there are. So, for example, there are national security reasons. So,
Go on,
for
here,
The
mate.
instance,
whole point of being
there are,
free press is
national
to
The
free
security
from
government
government.
is your
Go on here,
regulatory
bud.
Yeah,
body,
the
mate.
government is the regulatory body. So
Go on
things
in,
like
nothing.
No, they're not. They're the government.
One second.
No, they're not.
Confidentiality breaches, bias, copyright, access restrictions, defamation laws, privacy laws, plagiarism. The whole show. There's a whole very specific set that goes around what you can and can't put down in
Is
either in
plagiarism
writing
a
or
criminal
verbally
act?
out there as
Those are
news.
criminal acts. Those are not disseminating.
Is plagiarism?
Talking about here. There's
There's
no regulatory body for journalism. The government is the government. They've got laws and legislations on different things. If I said something on social media that was completely false, the journalism body of the government won't come and say to me, that's not right. They would say, hang on a minute, under this legislation, you can't say that, whether you're a reporter or not. If you're an individual, if you're reporting for a company, there's no set body. The government isn't the set body for journalism. If they were, we'd be living in China.
We are.
And that's the reason why YouTube censored everything.
I just want to say as well,
Code.
you said there was no regulatory bodies, and I've just found. Okay, so first of all, there's the press councils, the national bodies like the UK's press, Independent
official.
Press Standards Organisation,
Not
IPSO.
official. Not official.
I haven't finished. There's also broadcast regulators, professional organisations, government agencies. There are bodies
Broadcasting.
that regulate what people can and can't. Ofcom regulate things like FM and things like that. When I worked on FM radio, we were very restricted in what we could and couldn't say, especially around election time, things like that. Journalism is.
What do you mean you're regulated about what you could and couldn't say around election time? What do you mean?
So, for example, if I was to talk about, and we would be fined heavily for this, if I said that, Nick Clegg at the time or wherever, if I saw Nick Clegg's in the area and he's doing such and such, I then have to dedicate the exact same amount of time talking to all about the other parties as well. If I talk about one, I have to talk about all of them, and I have to talk about them evenly and in the same fair light.
Was it an in-house policy or was that law?
No, these are licensing regulations.
That is Ofcom regulations that affect television and radio.
That's to do with the license that the organisation.
Yeah, exactly. It's nothing to do with journalism.
With Ofcom and things like that. So it's a regulatory body that is there to restrict what you can and can't do and put out there in form of journalism in any way, shape, or form.
No, that's incorrect.
We do have, and there are other
regulatory
bodies and stuff. We do have press councils and things like that. They say if you say this,
That's it. Bro.
They don't have any.
Evening, Reese.
Evening.
As an individual, you have to be a member of.
Free press is
your
free
your
press.
right to free speech or to free press isn't as free as you might think. There are many exceptions, and it is semantical.
Could I hear Reese's take on
I
it?
didn't hear him. Sorry.
No, it's all right. Could I hear Reese's take on it? He's jumped up.
Hey guys, I just wanted to call out something that JOJ has just said concerning giving equal time to each political party in an election cycle. That's not necessarily true.
No, it is
because
something that I was subject to Ofcom regulations on that. I can find the legislation for you if you like. That is something that's true and anecdotal.
Okay, so when for example, when the election cycle was on, you look at the things like BBC Question Time, for example. When you see that they've got the main two parties represented on the BBC Question Time. They don't always have a liberal Democrat person on there to give their opinion. There are more than just those parties. There's very rarely a Green Party representative on that panel. There's very rarely a Socialist Workers' Party or Reform. Reform did get a lot of traction in having Nigel Farage on there, but then Nigel Farage is one of those personalities that draws a lot of viewers, which is why they have him on. Not necessarily because they want to give valid, but what you find is that when you watch those BBC Question Times from throughout the election cycle, bear in mind that the BBC picks the audience as well, cherry picks the audience based on their political opinions. Yeah, the majority of the audience on that Question Time are anti Nigel Farage.
Yeah, so I think that the distinction there that may be that there are very similar, and I'll explain the difference in just a minute about the other ones, but the difference between FM radio and television. So I am right to be called out. I said that it's both the same. They're very, very, very similar, and the television do have very similar rules to uphold, and I will explain more about that in a second. But with FM radio presenters in the UK are required to mention all the political parties during election time to ensure fairness and impartiality. It's part of the Ofcom regulations, which aim to maintain balanced coverage of all parties and their candidates. And when one party is mentioned, others must be acknowledged to avoid favouritism and ensure that listeners receive a diverse perspective on the political landscape. This helps uphold the principle of broadcast impartiality, which is something that regulates media. And it's not just, there are the same sort of laws that face TV and that. I'll find you right now the TV
Can I
equivalent.
ask a question on that one, on what you just said? Is it the presenter stroke reporter journalist, or is it the company that is licensed by Ofcom?
I'm so sorry, it's a bit quiet. And can you say that again? Sorry.
The company.
Right. Is it the individual, right? The presenter or the journalist, depending on what label you want to put on them, right? Or is it the company that they work for that is licensed by Ofcom?
So the company that they work for. So if you start up your own company, for example, or your own, in order to be licensed by Ofcom, there are some criteria that you've got to go through. So you will have to be, doing it. Is it because we were started off as internet radio?
So
I admit I
you
wasn't on the
employ
board. I
somebody
didn't have
who
oversight into that. Hey?
Yeah. So you employ someone who doesn't abide by your policies, which is based on the Ofcom regulations. The company can deal with the individual by terminating their employment, right? And if they have broken GDPR regulations, UK GDPR, then the ICO can hold them accountable as an individual, and also they could hold the company.
Yeah,
Ofcom
you're right. There's
can
lots of
only
regulations.
issue fines or revoke a license to
It's only
a
because
company.
it's broadcast. It's because it's a broadcast company. So if
Yes.
you've got a radio station or it's the BBC, they're regulated by Ofcom because they sit under that banner. But what I think is being conflated here is that the nature of journalism by independent journalists and what you can and can't do and what you are seen as and what you're not seen as. Just because you haven't got qualifications in said journalism or anything like that doesn't mean you're not a journalist. And if you're a reporter, you are a journalist by definition.
No, I wouldn't agree. I disagree. But I think
we should agree to disagree on this.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to,
I think we should.
I wanted to
agree
confirm,
disagree on
Therese, as well that the Ofcom rules that apply to TV are the exact same ones that apply to radio, are the same ones that apply to that. Radio presenters must and do that. So whether or not, because it applies to the channel, as was being pointed out by Grim Reaper then. So if you have one channel, one program that's showing this much on that same station later on, you will find more that represents everybody. There is they do have to give everybody a fair shout in order to avoid impartiality. It's the exact same Ofcom regulation. So I wasn't wrong. That was 100% correct.
Again, it's down to the company. That's all I was saying.
Each company,
it's issued by the company, right? So if it's issued by the company, it's like the only thing that really gives it any kind of weight is the fact that it says, CNN on it or some kind of big name. Other than that,
No, it's issued by Ofcom, not by the company. The license is issued by Ofcom. If you break those rules, you depending on what the rules you are that you break, because you agree to the terms of this Ofcom license as an individual as well as an organization. If you break it, not only will the organization be fined, but you could potentially be fined as well.
By the way.
If you work for the company, though, only if you work for the company.
Sorry?
It's only
if you work.
No,
yeah, so like in this country, for example, you're not allowed an FM license unless you're not allowed to. It'd be pirate radio, and that's a crime. You're not allowed to do radio unless you're not allowed to do FM radio unless you've got an FM license, which means that. So my whole point was that this is one of the many aspects of this is one form of journalism, like radio journalism, where you present the news, things like that. They are heavily regulated and thingies. So what I'm saying is that journalism is heavily regulated, and like being a citizen journalist will only get you into certain public spaces. You can report the things that you see, but journalism is a trade that you study for, that you undertake studies to go into. You then achieve money in. You get paid for properly once you can show a certain amount of your income.
What do you mean paid for properly? What do you mean paid for properly? YouTubers get paid handsomely for what they do.
Sorry?
YouTubers get paid.
I'm not saying that you're not a journalist. I was just purely, at this point, it's we can move on. It's purely semantical, but definitionally speaking, I'm not incorrect.
Okay.
I don't think that the phrase trade is accurate. I think it's
the trade's not right.
I think it should be described as a profession.
Profession, correct? Yeah.
But it is described as a trade, and it is treated as such. And in order to
you do apprenticeships.
Well, to me, a trade is something that involves using your hands.
Not
so
strictly
a bricklayer, a sparky, a joiner, yeah. Those a mechanic. Those are trades, yeah. If you go to university to study a degree for something, it's a profession. Solicitor is a profession.
So
a doctor
journalism,
is a profession.
marketing, sales, graphic designs, they're all they are trades. Accounting, software development, teaching is a trade. Consulting is a trade.
No. They're the professions. The professions. If you go to university to study for it, if you have to undertake academic training and qualifications in order to achieve that position, in my opinion, and I think this is probably semantically it's correct, it's a profession as opposed to something that has vocational training being a trade.
So the main difference between it is the level of formal education, specialization, and certification. So it's professional if you go to college for a bit. It's a trade if you have to study heavy and hard. If you're doing like a little course or whatever, you are then a profession essentially. So in fact, you know what? Actually, that's the way around. Profession is a higher level of.
That's exactly what I was saying. It's exactly what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So the difference is a trade isn't that, and that's why it's a trade. So you can go there, you study thing, you can become an apprentice, and you can move on just like all the other trades do. It is
no. You have to have most journalistic outlets like the BBC. I'm sure Murdoch's Empire require you to have at least a bachelor's degree in order to be able to even apply for a job. You're not going to get a foot in the door unless you've got a bachelor's degree.
Right.
Simple as that.
That's employer's discretion, that, isn't it?
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, this is what I'm saying. The majority of employers are going to have that stipulation.
So I just had a look at the literal distinction between why journalism is a trade and not a profession. So journalism is considered a trade rather than a profession because it focuses on the practical skills such as reporting, writing, and editing that can be learned through hands-on experience, apprenticeships, or vocational training. So journalism can sometimes involve higher education, such as a degree, but it does not always require the same level of formal academic training or certification, such as a traditional profession like law or medicine. Those are professions. Journalists develop their expertise through experience in the field, making it more akin to a trade that emphasizes practical knowledge and skills, which is why it's classified as a trade and not a profession.
Can I read you something that I've just found?
Okay,
Journalism
you
is
can get
considered
apprentice
a
journalist.
profession rather than a trade because it requires a specific set of skills, ethical standards, and a commitment to public service that extends beyond technical aspects of work. That's what I've just read.
So that again, in between.
So, journalism is considered a profession rather than a trade because it requires a specific set of skills, ethical standards, and a commitment to public service that extends beyond technical aspects of work. Here's why. It says all here, ethical responsibility, public accountability, scrutinized knowledge, critical thinking. That's why it's a profession and not
It's
a trade.
above a trade, aren't they? Whoever this is.
I'm citing the journalist
Do you know what I
handbook
mean?
by
That
Peter
sounds
Stewart.
like they're putting it above a trade.
Yeah, well, I would say, well, it's not above, but it's got a different skill set.
I mean, as a tradesman, you wouldn't need to have all that.
Yes, you would.
You call it? So right thinking and shit, would you? You know.
Here's a question: what is the distinction between a mechanic and an engineer?
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
Well, an engineer will design your engine, and a mechanic will repair it if it goes wrong.
Is that necessarily the case? I mean, there are
Not
engineers that work on things that other people have made.
There are what?
Right. So I work in the industry, yeah, and there are certain tasks that our mechanics don't perform. So we would refer those specific instances to an engineer. Now that engineer doesn't design an engine. He works on engines that are already in existence, but he uses a specific skill set that he has in order to be able to do the job of essentially of a mechanic, but at a higher level.
I would say such a higher level that he's hands off. And he's using theoretical problems and trying to innovate, and using the stuff he's learned, like scientific and mathematic principles, to create solutions. That's what engineers do. Though,
I think, to be honest with you, the distinction between journalism being a profession and a trade, if it was a profession, it would actually suit the argument of people that are saying that citizen journalists aren't journalists. Because
I don't disagree with you, Reese, and I think that this is why it's an interesting conversation to have, because I'm not saying that everybody's strictly wrong. I'm just pointing out that the way that it is now, and I think that there should be more clarification about it, because again, and this I've said it 4 or 5 times, that Venn diagram sort of idea where there's loads of overlapping ideas. So, citizen journalist is a journalist. I mean, but obviously, journalism is a trade. So there's if they made, slightly more distinctions, maybe, or maybe just less and blurred the lines a bit more, I don't know. But that it was just a semantic point, really. But it is a trade. It is something that you have an apprenticeship in, which is something else that, is another key indicator of, I say key indicator, but it's another indicator at least of, it being a trade. It's defined as such, and, according to the journalist handbook and things like that, it is, it's one of those things where, I think that it's purely semantical, and it's very intellectually laborious to go in and out of the depths of.
I think you're probably right in that aspect. It is a bit tedious to be sat here arguing, like you say, semantics.
Yeah,
but,
it is tedious.
My own personal opinion is that there's not a huge amount of individuals within, say, the auditing community, for example, that I would describe as being journalists.
No.
There's not a huge amount of people that I would describe.
I would agree with you entirely, Reese.
Yeah, no, even I even agree with that, to be fair.
Actually, Bear, you're one of the people that I would describe as being a journalist.
Sometimes, like I say, not every video, obviously.
No.
Some of the stuff I do is not journalism, but there is stuff on there that I've done. And like I said before, I would like to think, at least, some might agree. You sound like you do, where it is journalism. What I've done is journalism. It's exactly
whether you identify as somebody that qualified and gone through the trade, or whether you identify as it doesn't matter. You're a journalist. That no one can take that from you. By
Brought
definition.
attention to issues that wouldn't have otherwise got the light of day and exposed it to.
And as like I said, for this journalist card and press pass, like the only way I can explain it to you, and again, I'm only just picking out one time, but I feel like there is other incidents I could mention as well where it's worked. But when I went to the reform thing and Widdicombe was going there and I had to speak to this guy that had organised it, and obviously he wanted to see identification. What better way than to show him this press pass that I made? He looked at it, he was happy with it, he didn't even question it, actually, to be fair. Yeah, he asked for like the channel, what I do. I give him a little bit of a breakdown of what I do, claiming that I'm a journalist, citizen journalist. That's exactly how I presented myself. Yeah. He goes away. I imagine in a very short period of time, he's quickly maybe looked up Bear Britain audits, etc., etc. He's then come back to me and said, "Look, I'll when I get there, I'll see what I can do." And instantly after that, and with her turning up as well, and it could have just been pure luck, but everyone tried going in through the door that we were going in. They were like, no. Here's for media only, journalists only. And we literally did get treated like journalists. I've got to be honest. They treated us like journalists. The exact way I imagine other journalists that these kind of events get treated. And that was all. And a lot of it has to do with just the way I think. And this is what I've learned through auditing: is it's all about the way that you decide to represent yourself. If you want to go there fucking masked up and shit and think someone's going to give you the time of day or you're going to get anywhere, well, you're not. But if you go in and you're quite transparent and you put, you articulate yourself pretty well, you'll be surprised where you can find yourself, where you can get yourself.
Perception's 9/10 of the job. I mean, there's been a number of videos that have demonstrated that simply wearing a high-vis vest can change the way that people perceive you as a person. A high-vis vest lends authority. Definitely, you can gain access to people, access to places wearing a high-vis vest that you wouldn't be able to gain access to, because nobody questions someone in a high-vis vest. They assume that they're supposed to be there and that they know what they're doing.
I agree.
The press pass thing, I've always thought it's a bit of a useless thing to have on you. If you want to get into places like Bear went and you want to be seen as a journalist, the press pass is only good for the person who's looking at it to think, hang on a minute, where's this information going to end up? And how are we going to look on this platform, whether it's the BBC, whether it's ITV, whether it's someone with a YouTube channel? I would say the most dangerous things are press passes, because what it does is it circumvents people to different places. And if you're in the independent mindset of doing journalism or reporting, whatever you want to call it, and the powers that be, the government, opposition parties, if they don't want to be on your platform and have you talk about what you were talking about with them, maybe like in a voiceover, they've got that position and they can say, no, we don't want to talk to you. But we'll talk to the BBC who support us, and we'll talk to Sky who support us. But you, because I don't really know what your take is on this, will ignore you. And that's why press passes, I think, they're a detriment to journalism.
Yeah.
I agree, man.
I just didn't get it.
Niggy, just agree, bro.
No,
I'm only joking. Let's not go round and round. Do you know what I mean? We've spent
I was just thinking aloud.
I'm skinning up. I feel like Mellows has beat me to it now. He's been quiet for a minute.
Yeah, you can guarantee that.
Okay, order, bro.
Potatoes. You guys are all,
yeah, Niggy, you there?
You bet, loader.
Yeah, Mr. In Between, did you hear about JOJ's experience at the petrol garage last night?
Tell me all about it.
JOJ, do you mind explaining again what happened last night?
Yeah, go on. Right, you go, mate. You come to the August. So yeah, it was quite a funny thing. So it's been a really cold night where I am, and I live in like an off-grid sort of like caravan thing. It's got a diesel heater and stuff. So I rely on it for thingy. It was really cold. I came in, turned all my heating on full whack, and then it ran through the fuel quite quickly. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, I had to go and get fuel from the petrol station. So I gets there, and there's somebody else on the forecourt and that, and they're filling, they sort of filling up at the same time, more or less. Theirs worked, but mine didn't, and I was like, oh, what's going on here? So go around, and they're like, oh, can you come inside, please? I'm gonna need you to prepay. And then other people started pulling up, and they were fine. And to be honest with you, I would have been happy with prepaying if she said something like, well, you don't have a car, and I don't know what's going on. But she was like, no, you look like you'll steal, basically. Essentially was like, that's, I want you to prepay for that reason. And I was like, well, that's not fair. That you can't just do that. I'd like the same treatment as everybody else here, please. That's not on. And then in the end, I was like, fine, do you know what, I'll prepay. And she was like, I think she wanted to see my credit card so that she could see my name to determine whether or not I was potentially a gypsy or something. I don't know. I'm just grasping things. I don't really know what her motivation was, but she demanded that I can't prepay and that I should give her my card, and she's going to hold it for me, and while I go and fill up. Meanwhile, people are coming in, filling up and that, and and I'm like, this is a bit much. I don't want to give you my card. She was like, right, leave now. And I'm like, look, you can't, come on, let's try and talk about this. You can't just, I need this fuel. It's really cold. I need it for my heater. I'm trying to explain this to her. She's like, if you don't leave right now, I'm going to phone the police. I'm phoning the police. And I'm like, all right. So she pulls the phone out, and in front of other customers, in front of the cameras and all that stuff, she looks me dead in the eye, and she's like, oh, hello, police, please. Yeah, someone's being aggressive. They're threatening me. I feel very scared. And I was like, this ain't gonna end well for me, a young male dressed in black, someone's working on that. I'm like, oh god, this is gonna be a nightmare. So I didn't really know what to do at that point. So I thought, what, the best thing I could do is probably to just phone the police myself and say, hi, look, somebody's just made false allegations about me, and I want that report at least. What do I do here? Do I have to stay here because I need to get this fuel? And she can't discriminate against me. It was crazy. It was. Vincent, he's cute, isn't he? Yeah. I live rent free in that guy's head. It's so funny. Anyways, and then I'm waiting outside, and then the copper came, and he was a little bit like, oh, I'm trying to speak to the person that phoned the police, and I'm like, no, that was me too. I did phone the police. And he was like, all right, and I'll speak to you. There was only one. And then he stood there, and I explained what happened. She kind of openly sort of discriminated against me because I had a flat cap on. I was wearing all black with my boots and stuff like that because I had to walk through a cut through to get there and that. And anyways, so he was like, I'll go in there and speak with her now. Obviously you can't make false allegations like that. And so he went in there, and within a minute, obviously she must have just admitted it basically, but within a minute he'd just said, look, you need to serve him, that you can't just do that to people. He's a customer, you really can't make false allegations. So I think the idea was, I said to them, I'm happy to not make a statement for false allegations if she just gives over and serves me. And then I went in there, and he was like, right, go get your fuel. So I pumped it up. I was the only person at the forecourt at that time. I walked in, big smile on my face. I was like, right, pump number 8, please. And then that's pretty much the end of it. I walked home, went off and did my thing. It was sound. But she totally phoned the police and was like, we're gonna do that.
It's the fact again, how many times do we see in auditing videos?
It's interesting, Vincent, because I don't pay rent. I have my own home. I built myself.
It's weird, because in auditing videos, we see it a lot, man. Where people make these reports and they'll make them right in front of you, and it's like it is a false report, man. They're pure lying, and you're trying to dress that with the copper and that, and they're just usually, mate, they're not having none of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. It's interesting, isn't
The
it?
course of justice.
Yeah.
Is it not classed as attempting to make a false statement to the police?
I think it, off the top of my head, I think
it's justice.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I think is it section 5, part 2 or something like that?
Oh, you know more than I do.
I think it is a perverting the courts of justice. Yeah, I could be wrong. Something
could be an aspect of that, and it sounds about right. But I think.
Can I ask you a question, Jay?
Yeah, go on.
You just said, and that shouldn't have happened to you. That's just a Karen being a Karen. But
that was just a Karen, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but did the copper say to the woman behind the counter, "You've got to serve him"?
No, as far from what I heard, which wasn't very much. I'm a bit hearing impaired. From what I could make out, it was, listen, he's saying that you've made false allegations and stuff, and this doesn't need to be a big issue. Can you please? Would you mind just serving him? And if he said, if you serve him, we'll just leave it at this. Let's not make it a big deal. It doesn't have to be a thing. You know what I mean? He didn't say like you have to serve him. He was like,
yeah, but you know what, right? And I get where you're coming from. You shouldn't have had to do all that shit to get some fuel. Of course, you shouldn't. But this is where the problem is with police. They get themselves involved in things and they start saying dumb shit to people. He shouldn't be saying anything like that to her. He should say.
No, he's fully allowed to say that. Look, he's told me that if because it's up to me to make a statement, and I did say quite clearly, look, I would make I would like to make a statement unless if I don't get any fuel or anything like that. Of course, I'd like to make a statement, but obviously, if you can resolve it, it's fine. So we went in there and said, look, this person would make a statement, but if you could just serve him, then I won't need to, have to take a statement or to do anything to make it a big deal.
But make a statement against what? Sorry, to make a statement against what?
I saw her in front of other people make false allegations about me to the police. So that I don't know. I'm not saying it's an arrestable offence immediately, but it was.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really want to deal with the paperwork here, love. Let's just, if we just all played a bit nicer, then I think everything's fine. I'm here. No one's going to run away.
9 times out of 10, those kind of things never go anywhere anyway. If you made an allegation of something, it's down to the interpretation of the person who's in front of you. I could be very calm and very collected with someone, but they could say, "Oh, I felt alarmed and distressed," and by the tone of his voice, he was making me think he was going to attack me. When anyone else
changed her tune. She didn't say any of that. She changed her tune entirely. It wasn't that scenario. It was an entirely different scenario in which, by the time the police had got there, once she realised that they were talking to me, and she could hear through the intercom sort of system that they have on there, because they can hear everything on the inside. So she was like, I could see, I could always see her being like that sort of thing drain out of her, where she's like, oh, hang on a minute here, she might not even know it's a civil matter to be, discriminative. So she might have thought that was, do you know what I mean? She might have thought that was like, oh, you know what? He's just gone over and said, look, if you play ball, he's not going to moan at me, and no one's going to have to moan and bitch, and the police are here, you phoned us, and it didn't say those words. That was the sentiment. It was just can't we just get along sort of thing, which was, that's I think honestly, 10 out of 10. That was it, In my opinion. I'm not saying but I'm not. I'll be honest with you. I'm not an auditor. I don't know the ins and outs of police conduct. I don't know if he did anything wrong. But from my opinion, as somebody who had the police phoned on them, and I was expecting to be chucked in the back of a car and questioned.
No, I don't think they did, but I definitely think she did, man.
Yeah, she did. 100%. She was in loon.
And this happens, you do get these Karens, man. That I don't know. Did she have? I bet she had a high vis on as well, didn't she?
Did you know what? She bloody well did. Indoors.
I told you, mate. It's those high vises. I know what it is.
Big orange one. But no, yeah, she was just I don't know. She sort of singled me out, and because to be honest with you, if I'd have just said, yeah, Sam, keep hold of my card or whatever, that would have been all right. But all I did was question it, and then I was like, do you know what? I don't want the hassle. I'll just crack on, whatever. I will be treated. And she was like, no, you've activated my inner Karen. And then she just went Karen Ultra, and then phoned the police and started spinning the yarn. It didn't happen, And I made sure as well when I said to the car, I was like, just so you know, my mother used to work in this exact shop. I know that they've got audio recording and video recording, and there was a shop full of people. Some of them are still sort of loosely around the car around the sort of the car park area, just so they can keep, they can rubberneck and see what's going on. I'm like, look, I'm not making it up, because she was being well out of order, and he can't make her. He can't even go, right, you have to serve him. Because she can just say no. She's allowed to do that. But, it was just sort of like, well, you phoned the police and he didn't do the things that you said that he did, and it's provable, very
And the fact that you stuck around as well and waited for the police, because if you had nefarious intent, then you wouldn't have waited for the police to turn up, would you?
No, and they advised me as well. They were like, go home and we'll come to see you. And I'm like, not with your blues and twos on at 4:00 in the morning. No way. I was like, no, I'll stay here because I need the fuel anyway, because I need the heat. And you know what I mean? So I'm really, really stuck here. If she says no, I'll have to deal with it and I'll figure it out. But, at the very least, I can't. I want to get my side of the story across, because I know what it's like. Police get there. There's a woman saying, oh, this guy's done this, that, and the other. Before you know it, they're putting out, a little bit of a memo saying, right, some douchebag walking through the village or whatever. It's quite a long walk to get back to that as well. It is what it is.
Has anybody been following the fires in LA?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm about 2 hours away. Yeah, 2 hours away from
Yeah, there's. I lived out in Vegas for a while, and I spent some time driving up and down the PCH. So I've seen Malibu, and all those sort of, you know, those beautiful houses that were out there. And I'm just looking at some of these pictures, and it is just utter destruction. They reckon it's going to cost. They reckon it's the losses are going to exceed £40 billion.
Oh man, yeah.
I just
Yeah, I
I
can
just want to
imagine.
test something. BBA, can you hear me? Okay.
BBA is muted, so he might be away from his computer at the minute.
My bad. Can you all
Yeah,
hear
I
me?
can hear you. Can hear you, bro.
Yeah, no, okay.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry, I did just wander out the room a minute. What are you on about, Reese? These fires?
Yeah, God, it's just terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
40 billion pounds. It's gonna. They reckon there's been lost with these fires.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not
then
concerned
the
about the
new,
loss of life.
Yeah, then the new land developers will move in, right? And they'll make a lot of money.
All I know is there's fires like everyone else. I'll be honest, I haven't really looked into it, and that's why I asked. It was a genuine question, but I have seen some crazy stuff. Like, what actually started these fires? Is there any
Oh no, huh? Who knows?
confirmation as to what started them?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's
another
just a
fire-
combination
another
of
firefighter.
An out of work firefighter.
Lesbians.
No,
A lesbian?
firefighter,
Was she
mate.
lesbian by any chance?
An in-work firefighter started it. So they pyromaniacs. They love it, mate. 100%.
the Santa Ana
started.
Santa
Nearly
Ana
every
winds
fire
are
like
what's
that.
caused it to be as bad as it is. And
I knew a couple of blokes that were
Hello,
firemen
brother.
locally here that well, they were just a year or two younger than me.
Always
They
a
were
pleasure.
firemen here
Yeah.
in the local fire brigade, and they got caught making phone calls to get themselves sent out. Every time they were skinned, they'd get themselves sent out on the call.
80% of the
themselves.
fires, 80% of the fires here in Australia are started by fire brigade, like another firemen. So they're pyromaniacs. They love.
Well, so is this
fighting
what we're
their own
saying? This fire in LA is. Have they said this? So it's
No.
man-made fire.
Could be many,
fire.
yeah.
Could be. I
many
don't know
sources.
how it started.
Surely can't be
Could be.
natural for that time of year, even in.
I don't know. They've had some pretty severe drought conditions, haven't they, in
Yeah, for a long
California for
time.
quite a long time. So everything's just tinderbox dry. All it takes is a discarded cigarette or maybe a New Year's firework that was,
smoldered.
that started it off. It could be. It could even have been like a lightning strike. There's many things that can cause a wildfire like that.
Whatever the initial tiny factor was, whether it was like a cigarette or, like you say, there's many factors and stuff. What we do know is it started off as a small fire, and then those winds came out of nowhere, didn't they? Were like reaching up to 100 miles
Santa
an
Ana
hour.
winds, yeah.
Yeah, and that whipped it up from a sort of relatively small, under control fire to, I think it went to 200 acres within minutes.
That's what it said. Yeah, minutes. I remember him saying, yeah, within minutes.
Within minutes, yeah.
Yeah, Joe.
200 acres.
Seriously,
Gone.
two of the buggers were doing that, getting themselves sent out on a fake call.
I jokingly speculated earlier that the reason was that the rich and the famous wanted to destroy the evidence before the FBI get there, because Trump's about to release the Epstein and the Diddy list, isn't he?
Maybe it was the baby oil. That's
Yeah, I've
burning
heard
the
that.
road.
Peggy believes there that it's a plasma firestorm.
Reese,
If by plasma you mean baby
Reese,
oil.
do you think it could be fueled by baby oil?
It could well be. It could, I mean, let's face it. How many bottles did Diddy have? Over like
Gotta get rid of the
1,000 bottles of
evidence,
baby
right?
oil.
Yeah, 1,000 bottles of baby oil and like 800.
Is that like?
gallons.
Is that like 1,000 bottles of just one brand, or 1,000 bottles of different brands? Because he's trying to decide which one he likes the most.
No, he was the single reason that Johnson & Johnson are still going.
Otherwise,
Yeah. So when Diddy got arrested, Johnson & Johnson's share price went through the floor.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're just Johnson now. That's it.
So yeah, there's the economy's in a nosedive, isn't it?
Which one?
Yeah.
Our,
Which one?
our economy, our bond yields for government treasury bonds has has dramatically decreased, which means that the government's going to be paying far more to borrow money.
I was going to say, isn't that usually what happens when they print a lot of money?
Yeah.
Is that not
True.
usual? What
Typically, yes, but apparently this is linked to a wider phenomenon within the global economy. Apparently, a number of different countries have seen their bond yields decrease, America included. But we're particularly vulnerable to it at the moment because of our spending obligations. You know, so that makes us we're currently in the worst position in terms of bond yields since 1998. So going back quite a while. And then you've got Liz Truss, who sent a cease and desist letter to Keir Starmer.
Oh yes! Just stop him saying that she
threatening
crashed
to
the
sue
economy.
him. Threatening to sue him over claims that she crashed the economy, and I think that quite empirically, there's evidence that that's exactly what she did.
Absolutely, I can't believe.
I think before the end of the year's out, they'll declare a recession. You know.
I think that's inevitable. A recession as defined as being 2 consecutive quarters of negative economic growth. And the last quarter was what 0.1 or 0.2%. So it doesn't exactly have much to decrease. And here's the thing as well: all these changes that have been brought in by the Labour government, by Rachel Reeves in the last election, they're going to kick in April. The majority of them. So the increase in employers' contribution of national insurance is going to kick in April. You know, all these things that are going to produce a negative effect and a contraction of the economy. We've already seen a number of different stores in the high street closing down.
We're on our way back to. We're back on the way to being the poor man of Europe again, aren't we? We're going to be the poor man of Europe all over
Well,
again.
no, because we're not even part of Europe anymore, so we won't be the poor man of Europe. We're not part of Europe.
No, that's what we were before we joined the
European continent.
Before we joined the EU, we were known as the poor man of Europe, because we're still on the European continent, aren't we? Whether we like it or not. Well, I think. Anyway, that's what they called us before we joined the EU.
Everybody's going on about the
and it did us a lot of good, you know. Did us a lot of good.
However, what about the cost of motorists going up?
Well, that's going to have an effect as well, isn't it?
Because they've moved the goalposts, and they've also now decided that basically, depending on the cost of the vehicle, will depend on how much tax you pay, regardless of whether it's petrol, diesel, or electric.
Yeah, but that's only on new vehicle sales, isn't it? That's within the first 3 years of the vehicle being bought. Do you drive a brand new vehicle?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, you're one of the fortunate few. I mean, I don't drive a brand new vehicle, and to be honest with you, from an economic perspective, purchasing a brand new vehicle doesn't make any sense. That depreciation, that forecourt depreciation, you lose a third of the value of the car the second you take it off the forecourt. Why would you bother doing that?
I changed the car every 3 years anyway, so it's regardless.
I mean, like I say, a good quality pre-owned car with low mileage, much better value for money than going to a forecourt and buying a new one. And I say that as someone who works in the motor industry now and who used to sell brand new cars.
Yes, so the knock-on effect will be there won't be as many cars being sold.
Well,
which means it's going to affect factories, which means that more factories are under threat as a result of the way.
Not in the UK. We hardly make it. I mean, what we've got Nissan in the UK. That's about it in terms of making vehicles. We make very little.
But you're just look. I'm thinking of the bigger picture here. the knock-on effect, the car industry in total, which also includes mechanics, garages, the cost
Well, no,
of
because
driving
if
from
people
A
are
to B.
purchasing, if people are purchasing less new vehicles, then the mechanics themselves will have more work because the pre-owned vehicles, the older vehicles that are on the road, will continue to need maintenance in order to keep them on the road.
I agree totally with what you're saying, but people will turn to DIY. They'll try doing it themselves, or a friend of a friend, etc.
No, I
What
think
your
that,
Haynes manuals for, eh?
you're
Haynes
talking about
manuals,
you're
hey.
talking about a very, very small proportion of the population that even have the confidence to do something like that. The majority of people that I encounter, they don't even know how to change a bulb on their car. Some people don't know how to change a wiper blade. Some people don't know how to change a fuse. Some people couldn't put a spare tire on. You know what I mean? There's some people don't even know how to top up their windscreen washer fluid.
Well, I'm trying to have a serious conversation, but hey, all I'm saying is it's a knock-on effect. Right?
Like I said,
anybody,
from a serious perspective,
anybody who has an electric vehicle now will have to pay tax on it for the first time.
Yeah.
Whether it be a new one or whether it be one issued bought in 2017 onwards, they're still going to have to
be honest with you,
minimum £200 tax.
people with the electric vehicles should be paying tax because those vehicles, they weigh a hell of a lot more than a regular vehicle, and the damage that they do to roads.
Yeah. Oh, I learned something today from
where does the money
car
go?
owner. Electric car owner was talking to me today, and he was telling me that.
Where does the money go?
Hang on, just 1 sec, Grim Reaper. And he's telling me that in his car and his van, they're both so much heavier than the petrol vehicles. The front wheels are start to do damage to places.
Oh yeah.
When they put the brakes on.
What about when they spontaneously blow up and burn everything down to the ground?
Well, there's that as well.
Actually, that doesn't happen as often as you think.
The tax doesn't go back into the road.
It goes into a giant pot, and that gets distributed to local councils.
No, it doesn't. There's no such thing as road fund license anymore. That's gone.
So it's called vehicle excise duty.
Yes, and it goes to the government. The government then puts it into their own pot. The local councils are the ones that have to repair the roads, and they can't repair the roads because they haven't got enough money, because the government doesn't give them enough money.
No, you're absolutely right, but that's not to say that it's not paid into the pot. Do you know what I mean? But that's obviously something.
Taxes going
all
up.
Tax goes in the pot, doesn't it? Everybody's tax, every type of tax, surely.
Yeah. So the issue actually with electric cars isn't stopping. It isn't the braking that does the damage to the roads. It's the setting off from a standing start because it's electric motors. It's all delivered as torque directly to the wheels. That's why they go through tires as quickly as they do.
That's the
so they tear up the tarmac.
That's the other thing he said. Like, it doesn't make any noise, but he spins the wheels all the time, pulling away at junctions.
Yeah, because it's all torque.
Yeah.
There's no gearbox. There's no transmission for it to distribute the power through.
This guy's
there's no clutch for you to let up.
Yeah, he's rented both vehicles. He has his personal one and his works van. Rented electric. He's really happy with them. Apart from that business, but his insurance and maintenance and all that's covered with the deal.
Well, to be honest with you, that's probably the model that's going to be more utilised going forward than the concept of vehicle ownership.
Own nothing and be happy, Reese.
Well, this is probably the ultimate goal of the elites, isn't it?
Well,
because if you own nothing, then they own everything.
And your car is pretty much your second biggest purchase in life, isn't it? After your house, I would say normally, for everyday people. I'd say after your house,
the car's my second most valuable asset. Yeah, my car's.
Yeah, I would say, and that's probably pretty typical, isn't it?
Yeah.
The do away with
majority
ownership of that. That's a big step.
the majority of new cars, or majority of cars with all the bells and whistles, really decent ones start from around about 35 grand upwards, right? That's as a new vehicle. Whether you rent it or whatever, you're still going to be paying that sort of premium. And the way that the government has said is that if it's over 50,000, you will end up paying 10%. So you're looking at road tax being a minimum of £500 per year. I call it road tax, it's vehicle excise duty, right? Under that is the old scheme. And if you have whether you have a electric vehicle or whether it be combustion, if it's going to cost more than 50,000, you're going to be paying the higher whack, regardless, on a new vehicle. So if you rent a vehicle, the cost of renting that vehicle is going to go through the roof as a result. It won't be as cheap as it is now.
No. If you are rich enough to be able to afford to purchase a £50,000 car, then do you not think that you should be paying a little bit more in tax?
No, I pay enough taxes as it is.
Right. So do you think that you should, if you're driving around in a £50,000 car, you should be paying the same amount of tax as somebody who drives a £2,000 banger?
Yeah.
Right.
So then
yeah, but what? Because you paid VAT on it. That's what you said.
You pay VAT on a new car. You don't pay VAT on a second-hand one, unless
Depends on where you buy it from. If you buy it from a dealership, you do.
Yes.
If you buy it as a private sale, you don't. But if you buy it from a dealership, you do.
I agree totally with what you're saying, but it's still 20%. You're still paying the same amount of tax.
Yeah. Well, so. When it
just
comes
because somebody is able to buy something doesn't mean to say that they're rich.
Well, then if you can't afford to pay, if you can't afford to pay that amount of tax on a £50,000 car, then maybe you shouldn't be buying a £50,000 car.
Well, isn't that down to the individual, freedom of choice?
Okay.
Well, of course it is, but that choice comes with
people have 2 or 3
if the
holidays
choice
a
comes
year.
with responsibilities, and that responsibility is paying more tax, then you've made the choice to adopt that responsibility, haven't you?
Only because the government has said so.
Well, you've gone into that transaction knowing that that's the case.
But not when no. You will do if you buy a new car from April 1st, yes. But before that, no. Because you pay the lower rate up until the next time it's due for renewal.
Skill Troll, I'm absolutely gorgeous, sweetheart.
So, that's what I'm saying. It's, if you like, it'd be an unfair, could be classed as an unfair contract. However, because the government have changed the rules, as they always do, right, to raise money, they're going to hit as many people as possible. And to be honest, you can't get a decent new car.
The people that can afford it, the people that can afford a £50,000 car, so they can afford to pay a bit more tax.
So if somebody owns a rents property, or they own a property, because they rent or they own means they've got to pay more anyway, regardless. I don't see how that works.
What do you mean? The person that rents typically pays more than somebody who owns, even if the person who owns has got a mortgage because of the current state of the rental market.
Well, yeah, I agree.
So that just blows your argument out of the water, doesn't it?
No, what I'm saying is that everyone should be treated fairly.
Well, since when have you known that to be the case? Why is it not fair that somebody who can afford to buy a £50,000 car, which let's be completely honest, yeah, if you earn £50,000 a year, that probably puts you in the top I would say the top 20% of earners in this country. If you earn £50,000 a year, yeah, that'll put you in the top 20% of earners in this country.
You don't have to earn £50,000 a year to have a £50,000 car.
Then if you've got lemonade pockets, you shouldn't have a champagne lifestyle, mate.
That was well.
I like that.
I kind of like that. I like that.
I like that one. I'm going to nick that. Reese, you know I'm only playing devil's advocate, don't you?
No, I understand exactly what you're saying.
Sorry.
And
now you know how it feels, Reese. I'm sorry.
no, I mean it's not winding me up, but I'm just saying that
No,
the fact
I just
is,
thought it
if
was
you
funny,
earn,
that was all.
if you're driving around in a £50,000 car, then you should be you should expect to pay more in terms of your road tax.
My car's on a 3-year deal, similar to what somebody else said. It could have been yourself.
You're on a lease.
It is a lease vehicle, yes.
Yeah. Well, you don't own the car anyway.
No, didn't say I did. I said I drove. I have.
No, and then he said,
Skittle Troll saying that I work at Halfords and my lifestyle is Boost energy drinks. I will have you know that I can't drink energy drinks. Number one, because they've got sugar in them. And number two, because I've had to drastically cut back on my caffeine. I reserve my caffeine for actual real coffee. Yeah. And the caffeine, it would probably end up giving me a heart attack.
I'm not wasting my caffeine tolerance on you, petty Red Bull.
Fuck Red Bull.
Reese, if you want caffeine, drink tea. There's more caffeine in tea than there is in coffee.
Yeah, but I enjoy. I don't necessarily. I need to cut down on the caffeine. That's the problem because I've got a heart condition. But if I'm having caffeine, I'm having it on a drink that I enjoy, which is I absolutely love coffee. I love it.
That makes sense. Percolated.
No,
Starbucks,
I've got an espresso machine, so I make like lattes and cappuccinos and stuff like that.
I think you should pay extra tax on that.
You do you?
No, I think you should, because if you can afford one of those.
What, an espresso machine?
Yeah. Not everybody
I bought it second hand on Facebook for 15 quid, mate.
Paid no VAT on it.
Paid no VAT on it.
Just pays that. It probably gets his coffee in bulk. Do you get
Aldi do excellent whole beans. I buy whole beans, not pre-ground. I like to grind them myself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you ground it yourself.
Yeah. Well, it's much better when it's freshly ground. I mean, there's just
totally agree with you.
And besides which, you need a finer grind for espresso than what you get in bags of ground coffee. So even if you bought bags of ground coffee, you'd still have to put it through a grinder to get it down to the right texture to be able to put it in an espresso machine anyway.
It's got to go through. The water's got to get through and ferment properly. Yeah, I agree. Get flavor.
But yeah, the Aldi do a range of beans, and they're £1.99 for 250 grams, which is half a pound, and they are on fucking point. They are easily as good as any of the major supermarkets.
Do you get number 5?
No, I prefer the number 3, the Italian blend. Right. The green one. As an everyday drink.
Number 5.
Well, the number 5, I find it to be a little bit bitter. It's got some nice chocolatey notes to it, but it's a little bit bitter.
I'm all right. I'm all right with that because I am.
The Italian blend is a slightly lighter roast, which means that the caffeine content's a little bit higher as well. So it's great to drink first thing in the morning.
Okay, so we've gone from expensive cars to cheap coffee.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm going to say ta-ra. I've got to go and plug my electric car in now.
I'm going to go make a cup of coffee.
See you later, guys.
Good night.
Great.
Cheers. See you later.
No.
Oh shit. So what was it? What is it? Potatoes or potatoes?
Potatoes, obviously.
Not tomatoes.
No, spuds, mate. Spuds.
Spuds. Fucking spuds, mate.
Tatus, man. Tatus. Not spuds. Come to Wales, there'll be tatus.
Tattoos.
Tatus. Tatws. Tatus.
Oh, go to Scotland and the tatties. Tatties
Tatties.
and neeps.
You know some
gotta have
tatties?
your
Tatties out the race,
tatties with some tatties and neeps, lad.
We boil your head.
A bad sausage.
Was that your Scottish accent? I'm so sorry.
GOG, can you do your best Scottish accent? I want to hear yours. Yours and only.
Whose?
GOJs. The
Hey, man,
niggies.
what?
Your
JOs.
Scottish accent.
I just did it. I did that was me.
Oh, did you? Oh, my bad.
I thought it was
All
a
right.
real Scotsman we had on panel.
Yeah,
I know you
exactly.
like-
Oh,
my God.
absolutely.
No true Scotsman would sound like that.
I could do Jojo if you want.
No, that's not.
Stabby. That's Jojo.
You can what I mean.
Yeah. You can. No, I'm not
Where's Barbie?
What's your Scottish accent, UK order?
Oh, shit, mate. I can't do it.
No, come on, bring it.
I can't
I
do
wanna
it.
wear
Dad.
If you want to get into the accent, you just got to say the phrase, I can't do
You want to
it.
wear what?
Power.
Your
Scottish accent, BB.
Scots.
I don't know.
It's always hard when someone
I
puts you
can't
on
do
the spot, innit?
accents. Yeah.
Can't
You know,
an accent, laddie?
I can't do it.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
GOJ, if he asked me to do an Irish accent, I'd struggle. I can't tell the difference.
Irish. I'd struggle with
Oh,
Irish accent.
Irish, that is too deep.
I think
Remind all
when you're
American.
trying to do an accent, you've got to try and picture someone from that person and just do an impression of them. Like obviously Billy Connolly, or I tell you who does a great Scottish accent is Simon Pegg when he plays Scotty in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Can you do it, Cap?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, accents aren't my thing, man. Gonna be honest.
Yeah, my Scottish accent has died down. You know, I think
No,
GOJ is
give us
laughing.
your Scottish accent.
All right, mate.
What was that?
Yeah, exactly. It died down, man. Yeah, I know. Everyone's laughing in the.
You know what it is with a Scottish accent. Yeah, you've got to like put some kind of like enthusiasm into it, or it just isn't
Right,
gonna work.
I'm literally drained.
It just doesn't work otherwise. You know what I mean?
All right, mate.
Scouse accent. Who can do a Scouse accent?
Scouse accent. God, I don't know.
I'm
if I
gonna
can even
steal
do
your
that.
alloy wheels, la.
Is that your Scouse accent? That's hilarious, dude. Also slightly offensive, but really funny.
What was offensive?
I'm just
I'm
messing.
just joking, man. Just
I was
joking.
about to say, don't go snow.
It was a joke. It was a joke. Fucking fight me, bear.
It doesn't like the implication that Scousers will, you'll pull up to somewhere in Liverpool and you'll walk back out to your car with it on bricks.
Oh boy!
Like the sun talking to me.
Yeah, well, you won't find the sun in Liverpool, will you?
We'll
The
fucking
Sun
find no
newspaper.
copies of the sun lying
Won't
around
find it
anywhere. Lad. It's
If you
fucking
do,
gone.
it'll go in the bin. Since that, remember what they said about the football supporters at that disaster?
They said if your auntie had balls, she'd be your uncle,
no,
but
hang
she's
on.
not, so she
Hang on.
isn't.
What fucking match was it?
Hillsborough.
Where Hillsborough, where they blamed the football supporters for things like they said the Liverpool supporters were pissing.
Oh yeah, we
on
still
the-
haven't
on
had a
the
proper
bed.
public inquiry into that, have we?
I think they have, yes, Reese. I think they have. And the police, they found themselves not guilty, pretty much, I think.
Not that long ago, was it?
Sure. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
relatively
It
recently.
ended, yeah. It's relatively.
They investigated themselves and found themselves.
Strangely, no blame. But lessons, I think lessons may be learned, and possibly thoughts and prayers.
Lessons must be learned. I like that one.
Yeah.
That was a favourite.
Yeah, there's that whole thoughts and prayers thing. I've always had the thought that, you know, if you shit in one hand and pray in the other, you'll see which one fills up first quite soon.
Yeah.
It's
Just hold your breath.
So when are you going to come and flex your karaoke skills for us, BBA, on my channel?
Had twice BBA, twice the BBA.
Echo.
Hello.
oh, we had two bears there, didn't we?
You had
Karaoke
and it
skills.
started making horror noises.
Yeah, man. We do karaoke on a Saturday night. We rock out with his socks on.
I can't do it either. I'm shit at it.
Yeah, that was about to say. Skills is a strong word, man.
I need a few pints in person type karaoke singer. I love a good microphone, chilling outside next open.
He used to come and sing in the pub when he was younger. You know, on they had like little talent nights and stuff in the pub. He used to come and sing in there and win them things.
Little talent nights. I've eaten about 4 smackheads, I'll joke.
Yeah, he used to come along there and win these singing fucking what's his name's music?
Laura Lou.
No, all those other fucking songs you did with her.
Laura Lou.
Robbie Williams.
My next comment was about to be, I'm professionally trained, you know.
Are you also a model?
As it happens, I am, yeah.
He comes in model form, yeah.
What, have you done like a 3D printed version of JOJ, Niggy?
Yes, mate. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Comes in yeah. Comes in all sizes, apparently. No taste. Yeah. Yeah, it's all good. What were we talking about?
Oh, amazing I was. I'm a model and professionally trained, did you know? I'm just warming my voice up for next time.
La, 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 la.
Did you guys
I could probably what's the word?
Did you guys see the video of CP hiding from her parents?
No way.
Show me.
Show us, please.
You haven't seen the video, man.
Show me.
It's called Peekaboo the movie.
No way.
No, you could not make that today.
That's like 9 out of 10, mate. That's journalism.
There's journalism right there.
All my arguments out the water.
It made me chuckle, man. I was watching it and I was like, oh, the only thing that fits with that is if like it was CP on her way to a protest.
Fucking.
You know they don't like her knowing. And could you imagine that whole scenario? Like, because you know that, like, you never know. As it gets hot, heats up at these protests for us. You might find she'll fit in better with a burqa.
Me and J.O. fucking dropped our shit when he said peekaboo.
It was that bit. That
Wait,
was
who's saying peekaboo and who's wearing the burqa in that situation? BBA, what do you think?
CP.
You up, sorry, bro?
Who's wearing the burqa? CP in the situation.
Yeah, that would be CP in the burqa. Like she's in disguise. She's going to the Palestinian protests, man.
Oh yeah, I think that's the best cause for her action. honestly.
Lou, is this for you?
Harry Enfield, man. Can't beat you. There's some funny shit.
Couldn't make that today though, could you?
That's on mine.
Well, we did just kind of repost it, but no, you are right. That kind of material you don't see made anymore, do you? And it's a shame, really. It's a shame. Like there was a guy that commented on that video right over on the other channel, and they put like, "Oh, I'm a Muslim guy, and this made me laugh. Isn't she probably pretty? Question mark. Ha 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 ha." Anyone taking offense to this or something needs to go, and like it was something like to that effect. Like, you know, basically, I'm not a Muslim, and if anyone's taking offense to that, then they need some serious checking themselves.
It was funny when I
Well, because I was saying that like comedy is like most comedy not based on the fact that like what's being said is true, and that's why we find it funny because we relate to it. Because do you know what I mean? 9 times out of 10, a lot of comedy is true, man.
Some cultures are not known for the sense of humour, though, are they?
Don't think that it's. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think the comedy is a special place where, because your intention is to make people laugh and not to punch down, and because they're not punching down, they're just having a giggle. You know what I mean? It's not like it's make horrendous jokes. Obviously, I mean they're still jokes. It's still technical comedy, but most comedy gets away with it. Makes because they're genuinely not doing it from a hateful place. So it's what I mean. It's fun. It's funny.
Right.
Yeah, it should be, but unfortunately, the way we're going and certain parts of the world, it's comedy's being massively attacked. Well,
so
free speech in general isn't it? Let's be honest.
I tell you what, one thing I think throughout history, when times when your government gets oppressive, it's like comedians are the ones that are the only ones that are still able to tell the truth.
Well, that's why they used to have jesters in royal courts, wasn't it?
There you go. Yeah, and they used to do all kinds of, but it was comedy through comedy that the truth came out, wasn't it?
It's like, yeah, and also too, it's like, what right do you have to go through your whole life to never be offended? You know what I mean? It's like, who do you think you are? You know.
That phrase though, I'm offended, and to crib Stephen Fry, it's nothing but a little wine.
Yeah.
It's a little wine. That's what it is. It's I'm offended by it. So fucking what?
Yeah.
So fucking what?
Deeply prepare for a strongly.
That's why I like the idea of like the American way of free speech. Like as long as you're not out there threatening anybody, or like then you know that whole I'm offended. Well, it's you know. It's something that's taken, not given. You take offense. You're not given offense. I don't give you offense. You take it. You take offense to something I say. It's up to you how you. Somebody else that I say. So I could say something to you, Niggy, on this panel that might offend you, but it might not offend the next person on this panel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like we can't cater for everybody, because to cater for everybody means like completely suppressing people's speech so that we're all like robots and we're all saying the same thing. That takes away people's individuality, everything, man. We shouldn't allow that. People should have a bit of thicker skin, and as long as, like you say, you are right, JOJ, that certain things you should be able to really tell when something's done in jest, when it's done in a way where it's malicious, out to cause somebody some kind of like, you know, alarm or distress, or because you know what I mean. But I don't think that there should really be any things like free comedy are things where I think like literally should be the exemption as well, like being protected by free speech. Really should be.
You're going to take offense to anything that I can say.
Make those jokes. You just got to do it without the malicious intent, and that's the only real difference, really. So comedy, just like everyday life, we can all sit here and make jokes. We can all have a laugh.
Let's take Roy Chubby Brown. Do you think that he made a career out of just telling jokes, or do you think that he was malicious behind that?
No, he's a funny guy. In my
no,
opinion.
actually, when
I've actually met him. He's
a good point.
Funny fella. He's a lovely bloke as well.
Because a lot of people would struggle to listen to that this day and age, wouldn't they? His kind of material.
People can either not listen to it or listen to it, but he's not being told that he can't do it. He can't have that comedy.
You can still buy tickets to see him on piers and stuff. It's where I met him. He just finished.
Might not be much call for it.
A night show in Colwyn Bay on the pier, and he takes a rod with him apparently when he can, and he does a bit of fishing to unwind. I just happened to be there and met him.
But hang on, Ricky Gervais done it recently. Ricky Gervais done it recently, didn't he? With like some stand-up thing that I think then eventually went on to Netflix. I think the dispute was more about whether it should have been on Netflix, to be fair. But he made some comment regarding it was a joke to do with like kids and their dying wishes, and him like being on the wish list of a dying kid and what he would say to him. And he was massively ridiculed for it. Like, oh my god, he overstepped the mark, etc., etc.
Sorry, Bear, who?
Ricky Gervais, I believe it was.
Ricky Gervais. Oh, okay, right, got you.
When you pay to go to a comedian's gig, you're paying for the ticket, and therefore you should know what you're fucking getting yourself in for. You should know what it is that you're paying for.
Paying for a ticket, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the idea that you could be offended at a comedian. I mean, come on.
Okay, are we saying that? Okay, so comedy then, for that reason, can only be live events that you. Do you see what I'm saying?
No.
Because I get what you're saying. Yeah, if you pay for a ticket, but then there's those people that could sit there and, like I say, you have a stand-up that ends up at some point at a later date being aired on a platform like Netflix, and as a viewer, they sit there, click and watch it, and then they're offended by something they hear.
Yeah, but when they click on it and if it's got potentially offensive material in it, there'll normally be a disclaimer at the start of the show stating that there's material in this production that some people may find offensive. And if you continue to watch it beyond that point, it's a fucking titty.
So I agree with you, but as if there were arguments at the time and even conversations being had about whether that should be taken out of that certain episode or whatever it was out of that because it was on Netflix. It's like, huh? Like I think you just said, when you click something on, it will have age, it will tell you whether it be sex, nudity, violence, drug use. It says up in the top left-hand corner, right? Or wherever it may be, depending on the platform you're streaming from.
Context is important though, isn't it? So if you were take that what's his face from Great British Bake Off, yeah, that's got into trouble recently. Now, if he was doing a show where it was expected that he'd make slightly leery comments, and because there's a lot of shows where it's scripted that people do that, then it'd be perfectly acceptable. But when the camera stops rolling, if he's continuing to make those sort of comments to his co-stars, then obviously that's out of context. It's not within the norms of regular conversation, is it? So that's when it potentially can become not necessarily offensive, but I don't know. I mean, some of the things that guy said that you probably would consider him to be offensive, but possibly. I mean, I wouldn't, but so I can understand how some people would.
I reckon it would be too vague, like of a request. It'd be interesting to do like a freedom of information request and find out how many times the police get called out over hurty words.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's no offense.
How are you going to word that?
Someone.
How are you going to word it?
I don't know. That's what I mean. That's how I would word that.
See, this is one of the things that I've always misunderstood about, and whether I've misunderstood it, or maybe you can correct me on this, Bear, because you'll probably know something about it. A Section 5 public order offence states that you have to use threatening or abusive words or behaviour that is likely to cause alarm, harassment, and distress in another individual. But the key, the threatening words, threatening or abusive words or behaviour that's likely to cause alarm, harassment, and distress. Now, I've had people say, I've seen and I've been, told myself by the police that my actions could constitute, simply filming in public could constitute a Section 5 public order offence. And I've stated to the police officer in question that it doesn't meet the threshold because the law, the legislation states there has to be threatening or abusive words or behaviours that
Correct.
wouldn't be likely to cause alarm, harassment, and distress. And
Correct.
Sure.
And excuse me, you know what's funny? Like before all of this, many years ago, I once had the police in my house, threatening me with a Section 5 public order in my own home. And obviously, I find out many years later, obviously, when I get more interested in certain things, that you know, there is no way. So I've seen it. I've seen videos of it as well, where the police have tried to like say, you know, oh well, we'll do for a public order in a minute in their own home. There is no way you can be done for a public order in a private dwelling. In a private dwelling, it can't happen. Can't happen. You're not in public. But you'll see there are examples, Reese, of where this has happened, man. Like, there are quite a few examples of where this has happened, and they even think they've got the right in your own home to start throwing about a Section 5. But you are right, and then like I don't know, because the way like I perceive it, like myself, is if there's no one around, like again, you need a complainant. Personally, in my opinion, like be swearing outside my house, and
it has to be likely to cause alarm, harassment, and distress. It doesn't have to actually be a complainant.
You don't even need a victim,
if your behaviour or actions are likely to cause alarm, harassment, and distress.
Yeah,
and the
but what
key
is
word
that?
is in a reasonable person.
It does away with the victim, doesn't it? You don't need a victim.
So what is that? Because like I've literally seen it where and I think it was like a few years ago now, a couple of years ago on the channel. It was only a short video. But there were like these 3-4 lads. UK Transparency at the time were in Wolverhampton, and it was like match day. Good few hours before the game, right? And it wasn't like busy. It was like there was no one about, to be honest, apart from them and these coppers that were like, well, like on the other side of the high street anyway, yeah. Like they weren't really far away. And one of these guys like said, fuck. That's all he said, or fucking hell, or something like that. Straight away, this copper's pointed, right, don't let me catch you swearing again, or I'll have you on a public order. And it's like, come on, man, are we being serious? Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go up to him. And I remember questioning him about it, and he was like, well, someone doesn't have to be about, there doesn't have to be a complainant. And I'm thinking like, all right, so on the basis of what you've just said, Reese, maybe there doesn't. It just has to cause a lot, likely to cause. But define what is likely to cause someone. But what is that?
Yeah.
Define that.
Everything causes people stress.
It's not likely to cause alarm, harassment, or distress if there is no one there to witness it. So if I was having a private conversation with a police officer, you know, or with a friend, and the police officer was overheard it, and I'm saying, do you know what? Fuck the police. Fuck those fucking wankers. I fucking hate them. Fucking absolute pricks. Yeah. If my friend is not likely to be if he's participating in the conversation, not likely to be alarmed, harassed, or distressed by those words. The police officer, by definition, cannot be a complainant in that situation. It's not. It shouldn't be perceived as likely that a police officer would be alarmed, harassed, or distressed by those words.
Yeah.
Because they have a higher threshold of what they're expected to be able to endure before they feel alarmed, harassed, or distressed.
But they interpret that different from you, even though you're agreeing and saying that, like that's saying that if nobody's around, then there is nobody to likely cause. But they interpret it different. That it just has to be likely, whether there's people or not. That's how they interpret.
Then I'd say arrest me. Let's go to court. I'll 100%. Have a jury trial. We'll put you in front of a jury of my peers. I'm not taking any community resolutions. I demand my day in court, and we'll see exactly what the law states. And when you've lost, you'll pay me.
Exactly. Like I have thought about doing it in an audit before, but like I know to the viewers it would come across wrong. But I have wanted to do it where they're like, there's literally been no one about. We've been in
then don't release it to your viewers.
But then it's kind of pointless. But the whole point is
you're recording it. You're recording it to get the video evidence. Yeah, release it to your viewers once the story's complete. So once the court case has finished, and you've got the resolution, and then say this is what I went through. don't release any information about it until you've got the end resolution, because then you can give
that's
context.
true. Yeah, that's true.
Not what I was going to say again, Reese.
Yeah,
What
few
were you
people do
thinking
that.
of doing BBA?
Just basically like being like quite foul mouthed, to be honest, but like in a way where like, because there is a way of talking, man, where if you know what you're doing, man, you can not get yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say
Yeah.
do it without.
If
You know,
it's
where
long
there's
enough about, and like Reed said about them having to have a higher level of, even really whether it gets to a point where they've warned me a few times to actually arrest me for just some words there was no one else about.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it like for them to try and
You'd have
pursue
to
that
have
would be interesting.
You'd have to have really, really good situational awareness, though, Bear, because the minute that somebody walks around the corner, bang, they've got a potential complaint.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing.
Right. You're right. So, like I say, it's got to be the right setting. It has to be the right
Yeah,
setting.
right setting. And you know, if I were you, BBA, you know, doing this, in my opinion, make it out that you're streaming. You know, like how there's in real life streamers. If you know what I'm saying, BBA.
No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't need to do that.
No.
You're using that as a way to kind of like get them to bottle out. And I don't want to. I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. I want them to feel like, you know what I mean?
You want them to.
Oh no, my bad. I
their authority.
misinterpreted
You
what you
want them
said.
to abuse their authority. Mr. Chip says, "I'm sure you can be arrested for giving verbal abuse to the police. You absolutely cannot.
You can't. You can't. And if you can, I'd like to see what legislation that's under.
Unless it qualifies as being
Threatening,
hate speech or
Yeah.
threatening,
Or rape,
then there is
hate speech,
absolutely
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely no legislation that prevents you from berating the police. None at
You
all.
got arrested for calling the police muppets.
That was auditing Yorkshire, I believe, outside Huddersfield Police Station. Me and Jamie went a couple of weeks later with my loudspeaker. Unfortunately, I've been on a protest earlier in the day, but we played the Muppets theme tune on full blast outside the police station for about half an hour, blasting it out at them.
No reaction.
No, none at all.
He's got that video on. That's going to stay online forever as well, isn't it? The one that calls him a muppet.
Yeah. Well, he ended up taking a demotion down to back down to PC. He quote unquote retired and then rejoined as a special constable. That was it.
Sure.
Yes, that
Was that one the one that came out and beat that kid? No, is that separate?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was about to say. You say stuff stays online all the time, but I'll tell you what I can't find. Because I was going to, like, show it the other week on here, and I couldn't find it. Like, I can't find any footage of the AW thing where he gets done by ghettos. Who uploaded that? Someone other than him must have uploaded that video.
Well,
yeah, I remember seeing it, but I haven't seen it for a long time.
No, I've never. The video should still be out there, man, because that's you can tell a lot that does. If you listen properly, even once
Jamie
that
says he
phone
can't
goes in the
remember that.
pocket. Who can't remember that?
Jamie can't remember us going outside Huddersfield Police Station blasting the Muppets theme tune.
Did you?
Yeah, but I think it'd be a great idea for you, BBA, and thank you for giving me a potential idea. I just don't want BBA to then copyright strike me.
No, try it. Try it.
Yeah,
like
so
I
what
say,
exactly?
but you know, try it. Push your luck, man. You need to push your luck, but stay within the boundaries of the law. How you do that is up to you.
Yeah. So what exactly is your idea again? I just want to understand it. I just want to 100% understand it. So then, like, I'm not misunderstanding, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So the basic crux of the idea hinges upon the verbiage of the Section 5 of the Public Order Act. Yeah. The Section 5 of the Public Order Act states that there has to be a person that is likely to be alarmed, harassed, or distressed by the words or behaviors that you are using. So if you are in a quiet conversation, either with a police officer, you essentially, as long as you don't use threatening words or border onto the bounds of hate speech, you can essentially call that police officer anything you want. You can tell them to fuck off. You can tell them that they're a
Sorry,
prick.
my phone died.
You can say whatever you want to them, essentially, as long as you don't cross like the hate speech and the threatening behavior lines. Yeah. And the reason
the whole
for that
point of auditing to, I guess it is, whether people agree with it or not, it's to push the boundaries of the law
exactly
within staying in the boundaries of the law. Do you get
exactly.
that? So
and seeing how the police react and whether or not they abuse the powers that they've been given.
So, like, things that I guess you would have to do is more like personal insults, things that's like maybe going to trigger them. And like I say, people will be like, "Oh, you're just doing that for a reaction." Again, you
I
are
love
an
Auditing
audit,
Britain and
right?
his baldy comment. He loves to pick on somebody's bald head, doesn't he?
Right? And people sometimes, and I see people judge that and be like, "Oh, why does he have to do that?" And listen, if they're getting triggered by hurty words like that, then what am I expect them to do against hardened criminals? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
how are you going to deal with them?
Yeah.
The police are supposed to have a higher threshold for what they consider to be offensive or abusive than a member of the public. So even if you're using abusive language to a police officer and nobody else can hear it, it's not an offense, because a police officer can't be a victim for the purposes of a Section 5 public order offence. As long as nobody else can hear it, it's between you and him. So you can abuse him all you want.
Until he turns his
You big-nosed, bald-headed, impotent prick.
Yeah, I know, but then
You
you
beat
know,
your
like
wife with those hands, don't you?
yeah. I was gonna ask, but then like you were saying about the like handling yourself in court and all of that, so it would be
so
an
if they arrest you for it, you accept the arrest. Yeah, you accept the arrest. You tell them that you're not going to take part in any sort of community resolution. You're not interested in going to a magistrates court. You want to under British law, you have a right to a trial by a jury of your peers.
Yes,
get it
you
in
do.
front of a jury.
Can you still do that? Because
absolutely you can.
Absolutely, people just don't know about it, but absolutely, and that goes to every case.
Quite recently, you know.
You have the right to a trial in front of a jury of your peers, and based on the letter of the law, number one, I don't think the CPS would continue prosecution, to be honest with you, in which case you've got a slam dunk for a
But you've got to get them to let you take that to Crown Court, and even though that's your, I don't see many people doing it these days, as Nicky just said. So
you just adamantly refuse to attend magistrates court. Eventually, it'll get escalated to Crown Court.
You think they wouldn't just have a warrant out for your arrest, and then when they eventually get you, don't think they're just going to then put you on remand while they wait to process you in a magistrate court? Because I reckon that's how it would probably go.
How about this? I've got an explanation here of the overview of the law, and it says who can demand a jury trial. It says anyone accused of a crime in a Crown Court can demand a trial by jury. However, people under 18 cannot choose a jury trial. So there's 2 points there, isn't there? If you're under 18, you can't do it, which is a bit tough. But and also anyone accused of a crime in a Crown Court can demand trial.
So that, again, that's just the same anyway. Depend on what the crime was in the state. It would have to be more than 12 months.
Section 5 ain't going to. Section 5 ain't going to escalate to that, is it?
Yeah, so there are conditions.
So therefore, you wouldn't be able to. That's saying basically then. So for something like that, you wouldn't be able to request the.
They wouldn't let you
trial by jury.
Skittle Troll, you're not the first person to tell me that I'm boring, mate. I'm sure you won't be the last. If you don't like it, then, get yourself off to bed, mate. Night bless. Don't let the bed bugs bite you on your tiny little todger while you're asleep.
Is that section 4A? Todger?
Yeah, is that a section?
There you go. Yeah, I think so, man.
Well, there goes a question, begs a question, right? We're all sat on here on a public platform, and we're all swearing, etc. I mean, are we committing public orders?
Well,
No
no,
swearing,
because
BB.
technically, I am in my own home. I'm not in public. Yes, I'm on a public forum, but I'm not in public, am I?
Yeah.
Just
I just want to read what society is saying. It depends on the charge and sentence. I forgot to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we
Yeah,
just
that's what we
said.
just
A
said, yeah,
public,
yeah.
a Section 5
my
public
bad.
order offence is probably not going to escalate to warrant a Crown Court prosecution.
No.
It would be because the potential sentence for that is going to be under 12 months, isn't it? Unless you do state that in stating that you want a Crown Court trial, you should also accept the possibility that you may get sentenced to more than 12 months.
Sorry, lads, had a phone call.
Jamie says like it's
what is it? Are you on about the magistrate court? Because definitely magistrate court's just.
Have you seen? I don't know if you've ever looked at the figures of prosecutions.
Yeah, how much they make in a year of prosecution.
And well, compare the guilty verdicts on non-guilty pleas. Compare that to what they do what you get in a Crown Court. Don't ever fucking plead not guilty in a magistrate.
When you're at those magistrates, yeah, like on a magistrates, you have more than one. It's like usually 3. Is it 3 or 4? At least 3, isn't it?
4, possibly. I've seen 4.
I think I've
got the man in the middle, haven't you?
And had 4.
Yeah, you got the chairman, vice.
These people aren't even. Again, going back to what we were saying before about journalists, these aren't even qualified in law. You know that.
No, they're volunteers, aren't they? They're supposed to be people of moral upstanding from within the community. They're like super jury members.
I went up in front of my old headmaster, my primary school headmaster, but he stepped down. He stepped off the
90% conviction rate
because he knew me.
Society's saying 90% conviction rate in the magistrates court.
Yeah, it's fucking dreadful, mate. Dreadful. Don't ever, if you can avoid
this is where you're stuck because depending on the crime, depending on the crime and what that crime carries sentence-wise, you a lot of these petty crimes, you're fucked.
Yeah, well,
90% conviction rate. It doesn't matter.
You'll have to resist arrest on the way in, but
and
get an extra charge or 2 to make it worth it.
What do you do, man? I remember I had a driving offence. Right? I got done for a driving offence, right? And I was on a stolen motorbike with somebody else, another individual. They happened to be wearing my red motorbike helmet, right? And at the time they were riding it, I was on the back. We got into a bit of a chase with police, and they knocked us off the bike. Yeah.
Right.
When we got knocked off the bike, they stood there checking the bike over, looking for serial numbers. Right. We're just kind of like stood there, like, nah, for doing our own fucking thing, smiling at one another, thinking, oh, they ain't gonna find them. Right. Yeah. As he's doing this, he's passed me the helmet back, so I've taken the helmet, and we're stood there. Like, I don't even know why I thought about taking that helmet back, to be honest with you, but I did. And anyway, we both went to the police station. We get arrested. We're giving our statements, and they're like pressing on me, saying about how I was riding the bike. Now, the person that was riding the bike was like my best mate, yeah. So I'm not gonna like outright say it was him, but at the same time, I'm like, no comment, right? Thinking to myself, how the fuck have they got it down that I was riding this bike? So when obviously we left and we spoke, obviously at the time, I guess we probably weren't meant to be speaking to each other. I'd spoke to him about it. And he was saying like, yeah, they think you were riding the bike. And I said to him, yeah, they're saying that I was riding the bike. Anyway, I had no choice. What I'm going to do, shop my mate in. So I kind of went with no comment. However, the person that was willing to stand up as a witness against me was one of the coppers that fucking knocked us off the bike. I think it was even the one driving the actual car, right? Now, he stood up in court and said that I was riding. I obviously went not guilty because I wasn't guilty. I was guilty of like being in possession, I guess, of a stolen motorbike. But the driving offence, that wasn't me. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. There was a copper against me, and I'm in a magistrate court where you've just society there say 90% chance of a conviction. Morris, yeah, naughty. Don't do naughty things, man. Don't do naughty things.
Yeah, agendas. A lot of agendas, that's for sure.
Conviction rate is high at magistrates because when people plead guilty, when they get brought up to trial, they go to magistrates first. When they plead guilty, they don't need to go to the Crown. They just set them up for sentencing. When they go not guilty, that's when they send them off to Crown so they can be heard in the trial. Most criminal cases.
Not even if you go not guilty. Only if it's over 12 months. Only if the sentence carries over 12 months.
An indictable criminal sentence will go. A crime goes to Crown. All indictable crimes go to Crown. That's their jurisdiction.
Yeah. Indictable.
So magistrates, they normally deal with civil mostly.
Civil? Oh no, they've dealt with me many times, mate. Many times.
Can't be. The only time, if you're pleading guilty,
everything from drunk and disorderly.
No, not pleading guilty.
Drunk and disorderly. This is all civil crimes.
Right?
They're civil crimes.
What? Drunk and disorderly?
Yeah.
Civil crimes.
Yeah, there's no. Usually, there's no injured party. So, an indictable crime would be, for instance, a theft or a violent act of some sort, or murder or something like that. So, an indictable crime where you will be doing, a minimum 12 years and upwards. Anything under is considered like what we call a civil infraction. Like like drunken disorderly, for instance. There isn't no victim, right?
No, I got you. Yeah. Well, they say society is the victim, don't they? That's what they say.
Society, yeah.
Yeah. Society is the victim. Sorry, Jamie, you are the victim.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I always knew Jamie.
Yeah. That's what they claim,
Not
isn't it?
all Jamie's fault. Blame him.
Society is the victim. Caught
Have
with
to take care of
pot,
everybody.
I've been like, well, who's the fucking victim when they've caught me with pot? And they say, I've gone
when there's a victim, it's a more serious crime than there's a.
Well, if there's no victim, how can it be a crime? And they've gone like, well, society is the victim here. What they mean is, I didn't pay tax on it.
Well, it's about the game, right? It's like a racket. So in a court, you've got the judge, he's the referee, and then you've got two sides. So it's either the state prosecution against the defense, or the two claiming parties, one injured party claiming against the other, right? So this is why you need the trial, right? In order for you to have a trial of your peers, to have fair, to what they call your due process.
Screw you to the fucking wall.
To afford your due process, you must be tried by a jury of your peers. Otherwise, anything less, if there's no injured party, then it's considered a crime, like a victimless crime, right? They're more like civil infraction, like parking fines, or
I'm sure.
Has anyone on the panel or in the chat ever done a jury service?
No.
Yes.
It's like I've been turned down for it. Been turned down.
You have, Meadows.
Yeah, I've done.
Oh, well done. You must have a clean record then. Well done, you.
I have a clean record. I've just never been. My name's never been pulled out of the hat.
I don't have a clean record. I didn't want to do it anyway.
I strike that. It's not that I've got a clean record. I've never been convicted of anything.
There you
go. Yeah, that's when you meant to say nothing. Say nothing, Reese. Say nothing.
Oh no! I've been.
There's
arrested
a reason why you've never been convicted of nothing. Keep it.
I've been arrested about 50 times I'm not exaggerating.
Well,
I used to work on doors, and it's kind of a bit of an occupational hazard. People will make allegations against you, etc. But every time, I don't even, don't even get I don't even have a solicitor. The police, to be honest with you, the majority of the time, it's about knowing how to speak to them. And believe it or not, three little words can get you out of most hot water. Those three little words, believe it or not, are "I was scared." "I was scared" can justify a hell of a lot. I've that justifies self-defense, doesn't it? If you're afraid for your own safety, you can justify your actions by saying, as long as you don't, beat somebody to a pulp and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you say I was scared,
without forethought or whatever, without planning,
don't malice, yeah.
I think
don't doormen and that kind of get like a bit of fucking leniency anyway with that shit.
It's often taken into consideration the fact that you're sober, and the more often than not, the person that you're involved in an altercation with is drunk. Therefore, it's considered that their judgment is impaired. So the police kind of take your word for it over the other person. If it's obvious that the doorman's just kicked the living shit out of someone, then the doorman's probably going to end up on a charge.
Let's not get it wrong. I mean, there's probably even, here we are, if anyone thinks they got the balls, go and audit doorman. There's a lot of corrupt doormen, mate, to be fair. Like, why would you do that? There's a lot that get drugs.
That's a dodgy fucking audit, that, mate.
There's a lot that let drugs go in. There's a lot that let underage girls go in. There's a lot that get physical, and like I say,
there's a lot of young girls and impressionable young girls getting.
Unless you had a report of something like that, I would just stay away from something. From
you
that.
need
if it's government.
So why would you say that corruption in a nightclub is best?
If you had a report
of highlighting that.
If you had a report, somebody said to you that something so and so was happening, go and investigate it. But otherwise, going in nightclubs and whatever, you ain't gonna get very far.
And you're asking for fucking trouble.
Well, I mean, unless you're gonna stand outside and try and wind them up a little bit.
Who owns the nightclub? Fuck.
There's not a lot you're going to get out of them. I mean, you might get
There's more that you might get out of doing those, actually. I beg to differ. I reckon there's more that you could possibly get out of those than there is going to an Amazon warehouse.
So the doormen are governed by the same laws that govern anyone, yeah? So the law on the use of force states that you are allowed to use reasonable force to protect yourself and others.
Reasonable.
Yeah. Reasonable force for the situation. Now, like I said, the majority of the time, unless the doorman is egregiously overstepping those bounds, the police give the doorman the benefit of the doubt. I'll give you an example. There was an instance where I thought I'd killed someone. I was working on this door of a local pub in my hometown, and there were two drunk lads that they'd been highlighted by the town centre CCTV, and all the town centre pubs are connected by radio, and they were bouncing around from pub to pub. They've been kicked out of another pub, so they basically, everybody all the door staff were telling them, not tonight, you're not coming in. So they turned up on my door. I'm on this door on my own, so I've got no other door staff with me, and these two lads tried coming in. Anyway, they started getting a bit aggro with me, so I ended up, a bit of argy-bargy and pushing them about a bit. Anyway, there was about 5 or 6 locals. They were a family that were in the pub. They came in regularly, and they come rushing out the doors of the pub. and they kicked the fuck out of these two lads. Absolutely beat the shit out of them. So there's this one lad, and he's on top of the guy who, started with me, and he's pounding his head into concrete, and he's punching him and all sorts of shit. Yeah. So
my name is Reese.
No. I ended up the lad that were on top of him. Like I said, the regular in the pub. I stood behind him. I grabbed hold of him by back of his collar and by top of his pants, and I grabbed him, turned and pushed him away. So literally threw him off this guy, and then I turned round, ready for the lad who was on the floor. I were expecting him to get back up and attack me again. So I turned round, ready to put him back down on ground. He was all right. He'd had enough at that point because his head had been smashed against concrete a couple of times. He'd taken a beating and he was done. So I turned back round, expecting this other lad to come charging either at me or this lad that I've pulled him off. And he's literally laid face down on the concrete where I'd thrown him. He was drunk. He hadn't put his arms out to stop himself. He'd gone face down, smashed his front teeth out on concrete. He was comatose. I thought I killed him. I thought I killed him. I shit myself.
I'm thinking of bad nights like that.
Yes, I'll have plenty.
Rinks is like a wrinkly ninja. I'll have you know. There's no fucking
No, this was like I said. This was 20 years ago. This was when I was in my prime, and I were a big fucking lad at the time. I played rugby. I grew up doing a couple of milk rounds as well, so I was running up and down hills round Huddersfield, carrying 2 milk crates in each hand. I were fucking built.
Was that you in that Hovis advert?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I wasn't pushing that bike up that hill though. I was riding the fucker. No. Like I say, I thought I killed him, and then anyway, when police showed up, this guy got carted off in ambulance. He came to eventually, came round, but he'd lost all his front teeth. There's blood all over front doorstep of my pub. And I ended up having to give a statement about it, but the lad that actually lost his teeth didn't want to press charges because he knew, I'd probably stopped him from copping a murder charge. Because if he'd have stayed on top of this lad, he'd have killed him. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But like I say, in a lot of respects, there are door staff that do egregiously overstep the bounds, and they don't do what they do in order to protect people or protect themselves. There are some fucking masochists out there that enjoy hurting people, and they choose that occupation as an excuse to be able to do so. I've worked with a few of them.
I watched my partner and myself at the time. We were doing the doors on a place called Shoulder of Mutton, somewhere down south in the Chilterns, I believe. So what we used to do is, like, if there was girl trouble, I'd go and deal with it, and if there was man trouble, she'd go and deal with it, and it worked really well. But not very often did they get out of hand. However, I saw one guy one night glass another bloke in the face, and he, I mean, you could see the bone right round his eye. Isn't it white in fucking black light? Bone, fresh bone. And it was just one of the most horrific things I'd seen. This guy they'd had a couple of crosswords, nothing special. And he got hold of his glass like it had beer in it, sat it in his hand, and then just pushed it into this bloke's fucking face. Split his, it was horrible. Shut the whole fucking place down. It was horrific. Why do people do that shit? Why do they? Evil intent, Reese. People. He came out to have a fight, apparently. Shit, innit? People are fucking horrible.
Yeah. So if people in the chat are saying, I was never a bouncer or a doorman, if people need receipts, when I moved to America, I was required to get a full disclosure of all my interactions with the police from the police, and it lists literally every time I've been arrested, a synopsis of what happened, you know, of the allegations against me, and the ultimate result of the allegations, and including in a lot of instances, full statements given by myself, and then also statements given by the people accusing me as well. So I've got receipts. I can prove that's what I was doing. I did it for nearly 10 years. In fact, there is actually footage. There's footage floating about of me on the One show on the BBC when they came to do a piece on the taxi marshals in Batley on Bradford Road.
Right. Any more details?
What if it depends on if JOJ? I'm just looking at JOJ in the chat. It does depend on whether or not you have been incarcerated as a result of your criminal history. If you spent time in jail, then no, you won't get a visa into the States. But if it's, you know, just like a slap on the wrists, then yeah, more than likely.
Have they still got zero tolerance for drugs? Right.
Yes.
Chips, pissed on. That's the end of that conversation. In America, anyway. Ooh, I've
But
been.
Boris, man, you got a lot to say. Come on, panel, man. Don't just abuse me.
Yeah, you know what? If he's actually gonna come, I'll make space for him.
There's space, man. There's space.
There's plenty of space.
Keyboard, keyboard warriors, right?
Yeah,
we
it's
were
kind of like every comment proper negative, and you just think, like, at this point, why are you even here? Why are you here? Like, you know, Reese said it right earlier. Kind of boring. See you later, man.
Yeah, Skittle Troll's backing Boris up.
No, I like Skittle Troll, but I mean, I'm just gonna disagree with you about Boris.
Troll's got to stick together, you know.
Troll's gonna troll.
Boris is negative, man.
Yeah, if they weren't in here fucking giving people shit, then they'd have to actually think about how shit their real lives actually are.
Right.
It's an odd thing, isn't it? It's a really odd thing. Some people spend their lives on here, and then whenever there's a live, they'll have it open just in
Boris,
case.
BBA wouldn't. This is the type of shit I'm on about, yeah. Because, like, no offense, but wherever you are in the world, I could just type that exact same thing. Druggy bike thief. Like, you're a weirdo, man. I'd destroy you if I came there, you bow.
You bell?
Ding
ding.
Yeah, whatever that is.
The intelligence of that person. I don't think it's very good.
JOG is still there.
Keep hitting that keyboard, right?
He's not online. He's at home on his. Oh, he's on his way home.
Oh, okay, my bad. I was just gonna ask JOG, but I'll just ask him.
He's coming back on. He said when he gets home.
Yeah, Skittle Troll, Boris Yates, you've just both pointed out that I work at Halfords. You're absolutely right. I do. The operative word is work. I work at Halfords. I don't sit on my ass all day claiming benefits, claiming taxes that other people have better people have paid into the system, unlike you fucking cunts. I bet you don't even know the definition of work, either of you. Although you probably would, because UK Auditor posted it in the chat earlier.
Who else? Oh,
what's
oh,
the
you
problem
know what?
What's the problem here?
Aren't
all us auditors unemployed and living in our mum's basements? Shouldn't be no problem with that, eh?
If Skittle Troll's retired, then he should be fucking old enough to know better.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I'm retired as a result of the fucking Parkinson's and your fingers just wandering over the keyboard like mindless spiders.
Yeah,
I reckon Boris struggles with sleep, like fighting sleep, to be honest.
doesn't mix well with others.
And that, I always hate that about a person as well. No offense to anyone, but you know, someone that sits there going, I earn more money than you.
He was retired
Oh,
2
no.
messages ago.
I'm this, I'm that.
I hate that type of guy. If you're that type of guy, where you're like, I got more money than you. No, 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 no. It's like, you're a loser, man. You're trying to convince yourself that you're happy with money, man. Sorry,
Yeah.
state.
Yeah.
You might make more money than you're still a cunt.
Yeah, the chat making lean comments.
You can always get a rise, Reese. You could always get a raise, mate. He'll always be that, whatever you said. Why am I shy about saying cunt?
I'm not crying. No, not crying in the slightest. I'm actually really happy. I'm happy. I'm having fun.
Let's do something. What should we do? Come on, host. What should we do?
Do you know what? We always get bashed by the chat, man. I reckon one of these days we should just fire up a panel and just bash the chat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Flip it on itself. Right, who in the chat's having it?
J.O., your old man's a twat. Oh, that's me. Sorry. Start again. Cheeky chops, cheeky chops. He's a decent bloke, cheeky. Hey, we got to see him the other day.
When's the next quiz, Reese? Because it seems like people
Sunday.
That's a question.
Every Sunday, BBA. Every
That
Sunday.
was
You
mad.
had
You know, when you done that, I don't know, your music one the other day.
yeah,
Now,
that's
I don't
Saturday
know if I
night.
don't catch every live of yours, but it felt like there was a whole different audience in there.
It was, yeah. There's a lot of people from the States tuned in and
people.
watched that, yeah.
Yeah. Singy people. I it's not for me. Nothing wrong with, no, I'm just not a singer. I'm not a singy person.
Have you had the most famous singer on YouTube sing on your channel yet?
No, she's not got
been
the minerals to do that yet. She told me that she had what was it? She's recovering from a throat infection and she hasn't got a proper mic set up yet.
Yeah, she's not been well.
I like the way you knew who I was on about.
The powerful
And
force for good.
like for someone who's a singer, I don't want to bash the girl, but for someone who's a singer, and you think she's done well to get a little platform behind her through the lives, but you would think at that point someone who genuinely was a singer, would be using that platform to make content on singing. And you can't sit around for too long saying I'm going to do this, and then I don't know.
No, I'm not a singer. And I don't claim to be, but
if she didn't have a throat infection, she'd have tonsillitis. If she didn't have tonsillitis, she'd have a fucking toothache.
I've got what 2,000 subscribers. I'll
mate.
still get up on paddle and sing.
Oh no, I've said the other
Nobody
day.
subscribed to my channel to hear my singing. Let's be completely honest with you. That's not what people came for. Majority of my subscribers are from that fly tipping video.
Oh well. But there's some. I mean, you got some really good singers on there, didn't you? One or two.
Oh yeah. There's like I said, there's quite a community of them in America.
Yeah.
And I basically went and joined a few of their panels on a few occasions, sung a couple of times, and they decided to sub up. And when I put my live up, they came over and joined. I mean, obviously, I'm really grateful. There's some right talent.
Yeah, there is. Professionally trained. Some of it.
Yeah, I mean that Mrs. High, for example, she's actually a cabaret singer, and she's got a right voice. She's very, very unique, to be fair.
I didn't know that's what she did, but yeah, that's marvelous. She has got a hell of a voice. I listen to it. I can't take part in it, but I listen to it. It's just it doesn't suit me. I wouldn't.
Like I say, it's not. It's not everybody. I mean, to be honest with you, like Futoy, for example, I've got to give the guy credit.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I can't carry a tune. Shall I say either? No, I won't say either. But I can't carry a tune really well. I can maybe copy. Do you know, copy somebody's voice? But I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have my own singing voice. Yeah, I like cheeky chops. I've got a good voice for the silent movies. Yeah.
And just like I've got a face for radio.
I'll see. So, man.
I was just thinking about doing.
I've got a bit of bed soon.
I had my phone a minute ago, and I'm just like, what the fuck have I done with
Smoke it
that?
up, boys. Smoke it up.
This isn't fair. You guys are triggering me. I ain't had a smoke in over 6 months.
Have you not?
No, it's
Fair play there.
You what, sorry?
I said fair play for that.
Well, I had to stop. I started having heart palpitations. I ended up in hospital a couple of times with it's basically an irregular heartbeat, and then it got to the point where it were going into what's called SVT, supraventricular tachycardia. My heart rate got up to 160 beats per minute, and I'm just sat there doing nothing. And it's fucking beating out of my chest. I thought I was gonna fucking die.
I was gonna say, stop playing with your old fella so much, and fucking your heart rate won't go up, mate. Oh, God.
I was just gonna ask BB a quick question. So what phone do you have?
What phone do I have?
Yeah.
Samsung S24.
Oh wow.
Fancy
is
shit.
it all right? Is it good? Like,
It's all right. It's an alright phone, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Like Samsung, so that's why I go with them, man. Like,
Is it big? Because I got the S22 and they're tiny. I like it's easy to hold. You know what I mean?
I'm completely
big, not too big. They're not too big.
Yeah, because I'm currently undecided on what phone to get, man.
But you got the S24 Plus as well, ain't you? So.
I've always liked the Motorola. There's a new Motorola coming out. It's pretty badass.
Motorola, man, shit, do they still exist?
Yeah, man, they got a new one coming out. It's just like totally badass. It's supposed to blow everybody out of the water. It's like you should check into it. Let me see if you can find a link or something to it. But
Yeah.
In terms of
the phone I record on, is just an A34, Samsung A34, and
hang on, what are you going to say about spec? Because is it Deep got an iPhone, yeah? And I'll be honest, whenever he seems to use his iPhone when we're out filming and that, like, the picture on it seems fucking brilliant, man.
Bad. No,
it seems brilliant.
It's good. What is it? The latest? Is it the latest one?
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, it might be.
Yeah, the iPhone. The iPhone 15 is. Sorry, Aussie lady, go ahead. No, go ahead, Aussie lady.
I said the last couple of them are pretty shit. Like the picture quality ain't good, but the 15s are really, really good.
In terms of spec to the price, you can't go much wrong with the. You can't buy them anymore in the UK, but the Huawei. And it's now marketed in the UK as the Honor range. So the one that I've got, I've got a Huawei P30 Pro, and the camera on that is a Elysia camera, and it's basically a.
So they were outlawed here because they said they have like malware and spyware and shit on it.
You can't buy a new Huawei anymore, but Huawei have separated their company, and they for the UK market they now make a phone called the Honor phone, HONOR. I've got the Honor 200 Pro, and it's got it's a higher spec than the P30 Pro that I've got from Huawei. The camera on it's crisp and clean. It'll do 60 FPS at full 4K. The battery life on it's really, really good. It's got NFC. It's got contactless charging. All that sort of stuff. Just really high spec phone, but 200 quid. for a similar sort of Samsung Galaxy with a similar spec to that. And it's also got like a half a gig internal memory, which is upgradable with memory cards. You know, for a similar spec Samsung phone, you're talking 700 quid. For an iPhone, you're talking similar spec, you're talking £1,000.
So I'm going to have to
That's
shoot
nearly
off,
$2,000
gentlemen. If you'll excuse me, BBA, thank you very much for having me, mate. I'm going to
All right,
shoot
bro.
off.
Thanks
I've
for
got a
coming up, bro.
house full of working men again tomorrow. I'm getting new heating. Long infrared. Fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll tell you how it works tomorrow. Take care, guys. Good night.
Right, bro. Take care.
Hello, mate.
Stay safe.
Take care, Ozzy.
Take
See
it.
you.
Take it.
That was Niggy going, not me.
I think I found it.
Aussie. What's going on over in Australia?
Fuck all, bro.
Did you watch the Australian boxing the other day?
Nah.
No?
I've been busy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
was
I've been
reading
busy
that.
with family and shit.
Sorry,
and
guys. It's just
all of
Is
that.
that,
Misheard that.
is that a bunch of kangaroos kicking fuck out of each other?
No, there was none of that. There was none of that.
Who fought? Well, I think those two Islanders fought, didn't they? I've seen it. I've seen
No,
highlights.
Jai Apatai fought, man. It was like part of the Riyadh season, but they done it in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, I tell you what, it was fucking for a Wednesday night. Because that's what it was, a Wednesday night in January. The beginning of January, like. I tell you what, there was some atmosphere over there. Should be more boxing events over there, to be fair.
Yeah, they get big here. They're pretty big here.
Yeah, they should be, man. It was good. Good, man. I enjoyed it.
They're known as quite a passionate people of the Aussies, though, aren't they?
Yeah, my little nephew just had his first amateur fight not long ago. Just before Christmas, so see how he goes.
Yeah.
Even that fight night was pretty big. Like, there was fucking heaps of people there.
Yeah, I enjoy boxing, fighting, and that. Me watching it anyway.
Yeah, me too.
It's not for everyone, like, but
I know the great question, right? Ali or Tyson, right?
I think Tyson, definitely.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. I know. I mean,
The reason that you've got to say that is because, yes, Ali was the greatest of his time, but he was of his time.
of his time, right?
And boxing moved on after Ali, and the athletes became more athletic, and they became harder and tougher, and you know, that's like,
even Tyson.
They got more athletic.
Yeah,
even Tyson said that too. It's like even Tyson said, "Yeah, in the next 20 years, there'll be a fighter that greater than me."
Jay, I do. I used to do a bit of it. That's why I'm a big fan of boxing. That's why I'm asking anyone else. Like, because personally, I don't give a shit. I was sat with Prank on a panel. I've been deadly serious as well. Not for like no ego thing, no for YouTube, but like me and him were talking about meeting up and like going to a gym and just putting some gloves on, having a spa.
Aldi have got pads and gloves on offer at the moment. You can go and buy some sparring pads, sparring gloves. They're about $7.99 a set.
Yeah, they're terrible. You're fucking smashing knuckles with them fucking things.
Oh yeah.
They can shove their fucking shit. Yeah, they can shove their cheap shit. But that's the thing. Boxing these days is it's controversial, man. It's politics and all of that sort of stuff. It's hard to follow it.
Yeah, you know what it is. It's just
man,
like
you get one judge that'll go fucking 97, 98, then the next judge will go fucking 82, fucking 106, and then the next one will go 98, 97. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? How do you have such a big difference in judges? Like, it's rigged, man. It's wherever I don't. Yeah, it's too corrupt for me.
Yeah, it's like,
I noticed
time
it back in the day when I was doing my
people look for different shit, man. Like, let's take a fight, right? I don't know how many people on here are boxing or in the chat, but here we are. The Better Biev and what's his name? Bivol fight.
Yeah, who won that fight? We know who won it. Better Biev won it, but who actually won that fight?
There've been plenty of fights like that. Mundine back in the day, Anthony Mundine, he got rigged like a couple of times.
And that was quite wide, isn't it? No, but it was quite wide by one of the judges, I think, if I remember rightly. And I'm thinking, it depends what you're looking for. This is why judging will always be like that in boxing. Because depends what you're looking for as a judge. It's subjective to each of the individual. Isn't it?
Boxing in Australia, unless you go to America, there's no money in it.
I would say even America now is not really where the money's to be made anymore.
Depends, yeah.
With this whole new model that Turkish sheikhs brought along, the Saudis have kind of become the new mecca of boxing, haven't they?
Yeah.
UFC is kind of now here. I think UFC is kind of taking over in America.
UFC has, which is it's massively taken over in America. I remember growing up as a kid and like boxing was such a big thing. Like, and I think you see that with like Deontay Wilder when he was heavyweight champion. Like if that had been like 10, 20 years ago, everyone in America would have known who he was.
BBA, I seen the corruption in boxing when I used to box back when I was younger. You know, I know there was a couple of fights that I did not fucking win. And I'm telling you, I felt like I didn't win. And you get the win because you're in your area. You know what I mean?
Oh, no
and
shit,
the judges are local judges and shit like that. And this is like amateur boxing back in the day. So it was just it was corrupt back then, and it's always been corrupt, I reckon.
That's it, yeah.
I do like, and what you were saying about like UFC, what Dana White's, the whole UFC model works so much better in the sense of like everyone fights everyone, and like there's not that mentality of like if you're an unbeaten fighter, it's all about keeping that O on your record. You know, like you can, like if you lose in boxing, you can be like ready to compete for a let's say heavyweight world title, right? You can lose and then all of a sudden be completely like dismissed and got to start and rebuild your whole career. But in UFC, someone fights and loses, it don't matter, man. It literally does not matter in that.
Yeah. Perfect course, isn't it? Perfect course.
Yeah, everyone just fights everyone. And that's the way boxing should be.
And I personally, I prefer UFC because it's closer to a real fight than a boxing match, in my opinion.
You're talking about a street fight, closer to a street fight.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Kind of street fight quality to it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
The newer day street fighting, because over here, if you got caught kicking somebody, the crowd's jumping in and you're getting bashed. You know, so if it's a one-on-one fight, you're standing up punching on. Anyone starts kicking them, or you know what I mean, or fucking jumping on them when they're ground, it used to get broken up. You know.
I don't know. I mean, a well placed fucking roundhouse that put somebody on their ass would have the admiration of people watching rather than
just the front.
Just the front
kick,
someone.
Even just a front kick straight in the like solar plex, and then boom, straight on the ground, in the sternum. You know, straight on their ass. And anything like that is fucking hilarious.
The only rule I have in a street fight is that you don't fucking hit a man while he's down, unless the fight goes to ground. If you're stood up and he's on the ground, that's it. You know, you let the guy get up. If the fight goes to ground, then it goes to ground, and you do what you need to do. But you don't fucking hit a man while you've got that position over him.
Yeah, right.
100%. That's the old school way. But these days they don't give a fuck. As soon as they hit the ground, they're stomping on people and.
Again, I'm about to say, if you look at like UFC, man, shit, it don't matter when they're on the floor, man. You fucking punch the hell out of that geezer till he's rendered unconscious.
I understand.
That's what we're trying to get at, the difference between street fighting and UFC as well.
Yeah, street fights are dirty.
In a street fight back in the day for us, as soon as somebody hit the ground, if the other person walked over and booted them, the whole crowd was jumping in and they're getting bashed. You know what I mean? They're getting jumped, like, because it's not a good etiquette fight, like something like that. But in the UFC, some guys on the ground, they're kicking them, they're jumping on top of them, elbowing them, punching them.
I've seen we've all seen it in UFC many a times, like.
I've seen people like knocked out on their feet. They're knocked out before they even hit the floor. And even though they'll look like the refs like let it go on way too long, man. Way too
Yeah,
long.
they jumped on top of him and just give him a couple more fucking whack,
You
whack.
can see they're out.
A couple of hammer fists.
That's just
Yeah.
normal. That's bad.
Yeah, one
sport.
rep was bad about that. Mario, what was his name?
All them cunts are going to be fucked.
Mazzagatti
When
or some guy was known for
all
that.
their heads
Yeah,
are
let
going to
him-
be all fucked up when they're older. They're all going to have
Mhm.
Alzheimer's, dementia. They're all going to be fucked up, man.
ALS, innit? Lou Gehrig's
Yeah.
disease.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's a few.
There'll be a whole more.
A lot of rugby league players.
Ice bucket challenge, won't they?
Yeah, well, a lot of rugby league players here are getting that same symptom. You know what I mean? And boxers like Jeff Fennick, he's an Australian world champion. He's got that same thing. He's fucked, mate. They're all losing their mind.
Yeah, from that CTE. Yeah, that CTE, that thing. That's
Yeah, but they're all losing their mind. Like, surely these sports are all safer now than they've ever been, right?
Oh, you'd think so.
Think
Same as
so,
rugby
yeah,
league.
well-
Rugby league,
There's
you know,
nothing much changed in the history of in the course of human anatomy that is going to make taking a fucking punch or a knee to the head any safer than it was 50 years ago or 100 years ago.
Yeah, there's no helmet either that can keep the brain from rattling inside the skull, and causing damage,
And Jay, like JOJ points out, the competition has got a lot harder. The fighters have become a lot more athletic, and I bet they fucking hit harder than they used to do as well.
Sure, yeah. People are stronger, yeah, definitely. It's like there's a guy right now that's like he's a real skinny little dude, but this guy can lift like 500 pounds, and I mean he's insanely strong. And it's just
Is
probably
that
some kind of weird genetics,
That what's his name? Fucking hell. He goes to all the gyms and he carries around a weighted mop.
Oh,
You
I've seen
him on-
that, yeah.
Oh
Seen
yeah,
that?
yeah,
He-
that's
he-
cool.
He's a real
pretty
small.
cool.
He's a real small fella. He's
Yeah.
fucking strong as he lifts all the same as all the big people lift. He's a freak.
Yeah,
that
I
dude.
got insane. Yeah, it's all technique and shit. Yeah, this guy really knows a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's.
But yeah,
Well,
he's insanely strong.
I'm going to shut this down. Done 4 hours.
All right, brother.
Yeah, I'm
all
going.
night and all that. School night and
Right
all
on,
that.
man.
So,
Been cool, man. Yeah, been good, man.
Be easy.
Been good.
Later,
I
later,
appreciate
Mellows,
you.
Inferno.
Thanks for coming
Okay,
on,
all
guys.
right.
Yeah,
Good to
I'll
meet
see
you.
you.
Thanks,
See you.
Robbers,
Thank you to you too,
Bear.
BBA.
Appreciate it.
No, cheers, man. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Reese. Yeah, UK, Reese. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah. Good. Good meeting you guys.
Yeah, good to meet you.
Good meeting you too.
Yeah.
See y'all.
All right, then. Take it easy, guys. Thanks for coming
All
on.
right, man.
All right, man.
Good to see everyone.
Take care, bro.
Take care.
All right. All right, Bear. I take
Respect,
catch you
man.
later,
Take
man.
it easy, man.
All right, anytime, brother. I catch you next time. All right. And take care, everyone.
NDT.
UK order, same, bro. Thanks for coming on, bro. Appreciate
No
it.
problem, man.
Keep up
Thank you.
keep up the good work. Yeah, man. Everybody subscribe to UK Auditor. Check out his channel, subscribe.
Thank
Check out
you
his
very
videos,
much,
like
BBA.
more, engage in the chat, speak to the guys, friendly, don't bite. Yeah, man.
Big up BBA.
All right, take care, man.
Take care.
Bro, yeah. Respect, man. Respect. All right, everybody. Skittle Troll. Natty, the only reason I kicked you is because for that reason I was ending the show. I was going to say, obviously, why I done that. I was ending the show. But yeah, thanks again. What's that, BBA? Good night, and keep the videos coming on Bear Bants. Yeah, I will, man. It's all a fucking laugh, isn't it? It's all shits and giggles around here. Let the fucking snowflakes melt, and we're here for fucking a good time, a bit of entertainment, innit? And fucking, that's all it is, man. Oh, fucking hell. Big up to everybody else. Everybody, your No Society wasn't live tonight. That's the only reason I actually kept it running for so long. I was only going to run it till 9 in the hope that he was going live, but he was in earlier. So big up Society. He's going live tomorrow. I don't think he said a time, but he did say he was going live tomorrow evening. So look out for Society's live, guys, because I won't be. Be good to see everybody over there, even the ones that I don't see who maybe come over here. It'd be nice to all see you jump over in Societies, man.
DP, big up. There we are, Mr. In-Between is live if anyone wants to go there. Mr. In-Between. But yeah, no, honestly, appreciate all of you and take care of yourselves. God bless you. Good night.